Hey guys, Sean here. Welcome to the F1 Word and to the race watch-along for the 2025 Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. That sounds like an auctioneer. What's that about? Anyway, very much looking forward to this, I've got to say. Quite excited for this one. I think we are, as Thomas put it in his short yesterday, his paddock roundup shorts, in for a corker. So I'm very much looking forward to today. Or it could be the most boring thing I've ever seen. We'll find out in a couple of hours' time, won't we? But yeah, strategy not looking interesting. We'll get into that shortly. But yeah, I think we've got a good grid today. Verstappen on pole, Piastri second, Russell third, of course. Nice mix up there. Norris to come through the field. Plenty to look forward to. But yeah, as always, it's race day, so of course I'm excited. Hey to Biker John, to Peter, to Tim, to Marta, to Kevin, to Pascal, to Hermes, to JC Sauce, to Anushka as well, who is going for Ferrari today. We'll do some predictions in a bit, but yeah, we'll see. Not confident. Hey to Fud as well. Hello, Hermes. Hope you're all well and having a good Easter. If you do celebrate Easter, do we celebrate Easter or do we observe Easter? Whatever. Happy Easter if you're interested. There we go. Hope you had a great day. Bank holiday weekend as well for some, I'm sure. Hey to Daniel as well. Hope you're well. Can we make it a fully Dutch day, says Fud. Why not? We'll have it. Forget Easter. It's Dutch day. Just for you, Fud. All sorted. Maybe. Obviously, Richard for sure. Yes, of course. Taking out victory in F2 today. Cracking drive, actually. Ninth on the grid. Was it ninth on the grid? Something like that, wasn't it? Through to the win. Very good. Haprust has noted Easter. I like that. That needs to be a card. That needs to be a greetings card. I've noted Easter. I like that. Thank you, Alex. Hope you well. It's Mercedes again today. I've got some others coming, so we'll be hopefully have a different shirt on for Miami and so on and so forth. But yeah, that's how I blow my money for some reason. Then bone them skin. Just life, isn't it? But there we go. Should we have a quick run through the grid then that we've got for today? Have a look at strategy, and then we could do lots of waffle and chat and all that business. So, no changes from yesterday, actually, if you were here for the stream or you've seen the run through already. Max Verstappen on pole position again, somehow, because he's Max Verstappen, I guess, by 100th of a second over Oscar Piastri in second place, the highest McLaren, of course. Could leave today as a championship leader. Let's see what happens. George Russell, third place, a 10th further back with Charles Leclerc, 2.5 tenths off there in the end in fourth place. Kimi Antonelli fifth for Mercedes, 2 tenths off Leclerc, pushing 6 tenths off pole in the end. Carlos Sainz in sixth and Lewis Hamilton in seventh place. 8th for Tsunoda, 9th for Gasly, and 10th for Lando Norris, who of course crashed yesterday in Q3. So that was him. Game over, really, and a lot of work to do from 10th on the grid on a track which is tricky to pass on. We'll get into that shortly. Alex Albon 11th with Liam Lawson in 12th and Fernando Alonso 13th. Isaac Hadjar will start 14th on the grid with Ollie Bearman just behind him 15th. Lance Stroll 16th. Jack Doohan in 17th. Nico Hulkenberg will start 18th with Esteban Ocon in 19th and Gabriel Bortoleto in 20th place. In terms of strategy, the line from Pirelli coming into this weekend was that they've gone a step softer than last year to try and offer a bit more variety in terms of strategy and to give us a bit more of an exciting race and some options and things like that. As it turns out, it's set to be a one-stopper. So that worked. Last year, everyone pitted on lap 7 pretty much all, but I think about 4 drivers in the end pitted on lap 7 for under the safety car for a new set of tyres and ran them to the end with some tyre management. And that's basically looking like we're going to get today, just a bit later unless we get an early safety car. One stopper, medium tyre at the start, 16 to 22 laps on that and then run the hard to the end. Or you could start on the hard and do 28 to 34 laps on that and then run the medium to the end. Or if you do fancy a two-stopper, the medium or the hard at the start. The medium at the start, 10 to 16 laps followed by 2 stints on the hard tyres. Or you could be really bold and start on the soft tyre, do 10 to 16 laps again and then run the hard tyre to the end. I'm hoping we get a two-stopper. I'm sure someone's going to tell me now that would be way too dangerous, stupid, and that the stresses through them will be ridiculous. But I kind of feel like if we get a one-stopper again today, maybe we need to go a step softer again next year in Jeddah, because clearly the track isn't eating the tyres like they're expecting it to. We'll see how the race goes, of course. Things can be very different on race day. It's all well and good with theories and strategy predictions. Things can twist and turn, red flags, safety cars. We'll see what happens. But it does look like a one-stopper if it's a straightforward race is what I was going to say there. So, yeah. Bit disappointing to see that, but we'll see what happens. And I'm hoping if it is a one stopper, it's a solid one stopper and not one of those that's kind of borderline. So we end up with way too much tyre management and trying to stretch it to one stopper rather than just pitting a second time. So we'll see what happens. It could be chaos today, so this could be irrelevant, but they are the strategies. A couple of one stoppers, 3 one stoppers, or a two stopper are the options. And tyre wise, interesting. all of these, both McLarens, both Ferraris, both Red Bulls, and both Mercedes have 2 sets of the hards available, as do the Alpines and Nico Hulkenberg in the Sauber. Everybody else has 1 set apart from Aston Martin, who, just I'm saying this now, they've got 2 used sets, but I bet they've just put a heat cycle through them, so they're basically new. Everybody at the top has got a 1 set of the mediums available. Interestingly, Lando Norris, out of the top teams, has actually got 1 set of new softs as well. So maybe, watching his car there, I don't think we'll get a glimpse, but maybe he might fancy something on the softs early on to gain a couple of places off the line. So look out for that one. But yeah, lots of variation in tyres. Hopefully we're going to get a good mixing strategy, but we'll see how we go. And we are 20 minutes away from the start of the race. So once we get going, live timing from Multiview. We'll also have the track map as well, which will be working. And I think I've positioned it in a good spot today. So hopefully all good. We shall see as Martin Brundle's cracking on with his grid walk, which should be good stuff. So yeah, hoping for a good race, hoping for some good strategy. And to be honest, whilst chaos doesn't always give you great racing, it would be nice to see a bit of drama today, wouldn't it? Something exciting to get us all jumping around like idiots. So let's see. But yeah, I don't know if there's a reason why they couldn't go C4, C5, C6 next year, if it is going to be another straightforward one-stopper. But that's a conversation for next year, I guess, and whatever the tyres are. Bearing in mind we are a step softer this year anyway, so we shall see. I thought you might like the picture of George. I put it in there. That was my shock yesterday when Max took pole. Hans says McLaren have the car but not the drivers. I have always maintained that Norris is too mentally weak. Bravo Tech says lousy organizer, lousy watch along. Well, go then. You don't have to be here. It's not mandatory, dude. It is completely optional, but cool. There you go. Probably wouldn't read some of his troll comments yesterday, so he's probably not very happy with me. Red Raven, the race course looks about as wobbly as someone after 2 bottles of whiskey. So me then. So no straightforward race expected. Pascal's in chat. Obviously very much looking forward to Sauber sorting things out. Very much looking forward to it. Today, points, maybe. I've been ambitious, Pascal. You can tell me off if you want. Jordan said, love the double segue into tyre talk on a preview video. Yeah, someone said the Bahrain one wasn't very good, so I thought I'd do a double one for this one. Yeah, I thought we'd do that one. Maybe go out to a single one for Miami. Anushka says we love sassy, Sean. I'll try not to be sassy. Just if someone's like, oh, your streams are crap, it's like, then why are you here? I'm not forcing you to be. You can go elsewhere. You're more than welcome to be here. But if you don't like them, don't turn up. You know, it's not a surprise, is it? Or it's not difficult. I'm thinking 5 to 6 DNFs according to Red Raven, or Red Raven is thinking 5 to 6 DNFs. So I think we can see safety car and all of that business. So, yeah. The F2 race was good. I think the sprint was better yesterday. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. But I think we're going to get a good race. And I know I've just hyped that up way too much already. And I keep saying it's going to be a good race. So it'll be boring as hell and you'll all blame me. But please don't blame me. We'll see how we go. Well, it was fantastic. Ignore the trolls, bro. But you're absolutely right. Yeah, yeah. Each to their own, but there you go. Sean tried to prove he's not a George Russell hater today with that shirt. Yeah, this is because... I think I mentioned this yesterday, so if you weren't here yesterday, you won't know this. But I think it was, and I'm not being mean or calling anybody out, but I think it was Tony said that I was on the Antonelli hype train because I said something positive about him. I can't remember what it was now. And somebody the previous week, because I put a short out about George Russell potentially being an underdog for the championship. I don't think he is, but he's had a great start and deserves some praise for it, saying that I was a George Russell fan. So I thought, do you know what? I'm going to go and drop £100 on a t-shirt, £100, just to make a point and have a lol. That was it. £100. And now we can't afford shopping, which is probably not a bad thing, to be fair. I could do with a week without food. It's not going to hurt me, is it? I had to do a chemistry past paper to revise while watching. Good luck, Fabian. Hope all goes well with that. I got a chemistry... No. I wasn't good at science. Yeah, no. I can't help you with that, but I hope it goes well. That's all that matters. I hope it goes well. Imagine a Red Bull 1-2, says Iron Ahmed. Where's Tsunoda? 8th place. I mean, look, 8th place. 8th place is pretty good for Tsunoda. I think I said this yesterday. Tricky in Japan, to be expected. qualified in the top 10 in Bahrain, qualified in the top 10 here. That's what he needs to do initially. That is, with respect to Lawson, it was only 2 races. I get that, but that is more than Lawson was doing. So they have made the right call there, but let's see how it unfolds over the course of the season. I think he's in for the season though. I think he is. So I'm going to stop there. I was going to say something else, but what I'll say is I think he's in for the season, but you never know with Red Bull, do you? So, but yeah, 1-2 for Red Bull would be mad. But I would like a really great result for Tsunoda, but I think just getting those points on the board for him now, keep out of trouble, score the points, have good weekend, show progress to the team. That's what he needs to be doing. Max Verstappen, I agree with a lot of people who say that Red Bull is not as bad as maybe people make out, but it's still not a good car or not a great car. So he can deliver laps like that. Tsunoda, Lawson, whoever you put in that second car is not necessarily going to be able to do that. So let Max do that. Pick up your wins, pick up your podiums, and then your second driver just plucking away at points, improving, helping to improve the car. That's what you need. So Yuki's got that test as well before Miami at Silverstone, so that could be interesting. Piastri, Russell, Leclerc, and Sauber keep out of trouble and see what happens. There's Pascal. Red Raven says, if we are allowed to make you choose a shirt, I vote, if you can find one, a Scuderia Minardi shirt. Funny you should say that, Mr. Red Raven, sir. I assume Mr. Red Raven, sir. I apologise. It might not be, but there you go. I was looking on a website the other day for a vintage Minardi shirt, and I was tempted to pick one up. I think they were like 20-something pounds. They weren't too bad, so I might do. I'm just auto-locking George in third. At this point, says Hermes. Yeah, I said in the preview, he's a pretty safe bet, isn't he, for third place? So, Red Bubble sell, do they? I like Red Bubble. I will check that one out. Thank you, Sema Dragon. I appreciate that. Good to see you again. Any questions? Then we'll do some predictions. We've got about 14 minutes till the start of the race, so plenty of time for waffle and chat. So if you've got any questions, throw them my way. We'll do some questions as well after the stream, just to let you know, slight tweak to the schedule, but not really that much of a tweak. There won't be a short from Thomas on YouTube tonight unless it's something different to what we've planned. That'll mean nothing to you. Leave that with me. But he is going to record a longer video, about sort of 4 to 5 minutes. It's going to go out tomorrow instead, talking about something from the weekend that's worth talking about. So that'll be from the paddock as well. So just something a bit different to try on a Monday, with it being a bank holiday. See if anyone's interested, but also just to take a little bit of the stress off the it's madness post stream. I'm not even kidding. Now with the whole the Planet F1 buyout team up thing, everything's just after the stream. It's 101 things to do, so just trying to take a bit of the pressure off there. So hopefully a video out tomorrow from Thomas, then one from Elizabeth on Tuesday, which I'll have to edit, but I'll be taking a bit of a breather then, and then I'll be back with shorts and videos Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, of course. Then before you know it, it's bloody Miami and we're off again. So there you go. My question, do you think Norris will get a podium, says Iron or Ayan or Ayan? You know who you are. It's a good question. He did in Bahrain, didn't he? From a little bit further up the grid, to be fair. But the problem is it's a lot tougher to pass here. I said I'd do it at the start, so I'll do it now as well. But the best spot is on the run to turn 1 and through turn 1. The problem is, as we saw in F2, they cover the inside. The driver has to go on the outside. They just run them out of road. So it's quite a tricky pass there. You can make a move into turn 27. Probably the second best spot to make a move. The problem is they do a drone show, which I love drones. I can't help it. Anyway, if you go to turn 27, probably the second best spot. The problem is when you exit that corner, you've got the DRS detection straight after. So the driver that's just overtaken somebody is then vulnerable on the run to turn 1. So it's always better to tuck in, or almost always better to tuck in and just sort of get advantage of that DRS down to turn 1. So it's going to be tough for him. It's weird, right? I would both be surprised if he got a podium, but also not surprised because that McLaren is quick. So I'm going to say minimum top 5. I'd be surprised if he doesn't make top 4. I'm not confident on a podium for him because it looks as though the pace is there for Red Bull. I know the McLaren race pace is better, but Red Bull has some good pace with Verstappen. Clearly, there's some good pace in the Mercedes. I'm hoping, where's Anushka? Hoping that Ferrari have some good race pace for a change, or again, like we saw in Bahrain. So I think it's going to be difficult for him, but I can see him top 4. I can see top 4 today. And if Piastri wins, that puts him top of the Drivers' Championship, by the way. I'm going to keep saying that because would that be the first time he's led the championship? Piastri would be, wouldn't it? If he was to do that. So that'd be pretty amazing for him. Alex says, I'm so pleased to be able to be here today. Great stream. Can't wait for the race. Thank you so much, Alex. Hope you're having a good Sunday. I'll try and keep you updated with what's happening in the race, but You know, I'm not the best at it. I'll get confused. I'll start talking about Jarno Trulli at some point, I'm sure, for no reason. Nick, good afternoon to you, mate. Hope you're well. James says, I hope Lando will finish in the top 5 place after 50 laps of Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Annette says, good afternoon to Nick. There you go. I don't know why I had to read that. I just did. I am the middleman. Whatever you've got to say, send it through me. I'll sort it. Bruce said the GOAT got the pole and going to get the Easter egg in the final flag. And yes, Piastri's never led the championship, so there we go. Bruce says pure chocolate. And Ian says, who are you supporting? Well, I mean, I should say Mercedes, but I'm not really. This is just to make a point, but an expensive way. But Piastri, Verstappen, Ferrari. Yeah, there's not really anybody it's not really anybody I support outright. Maybe Verstappen, I suppose, but I just want a great race. I used to be, I've said, if you're new, you won't know this, but I was a big, he's still my hero, Michael Schumacher fan, so I sort of haven't latched onto a driver quite like I did with him, but I've got my favourites and drivers I'm not too fussed about, but I just really want to see great racing. That's my priority today. But yeah, not Mercedes. Ferrari definitely do have pace, as Anushka. They don't. I'm watching the race on Now TV, says James. I've not used Now TV before. I've got the old Sky box out. We've got Sky because I love a movie and I love watching my football on there, but it's getting a bit pricey, so maybe not for much longer. Maybe I'll go down the Now TV route or find a more creative way. Let's put it that way. You never know. Hoping the Red Bull's race pace is dire just to keep it interesting. I've learned to not rule out anything with Max, says the Hat Brust. Well, as we've seen twice this season, haven't we? Japan and Saudi Arabia now. You can't ever rule him out. He is inevitable, I think I said yesterday. So there you go. Lyle says, don't listen to that troll who's down in your stream. He's just jealous you pull off a really good stream and he can't. I think Norris will be 4th. Thoughts on Verstappen, clap at Croft on Thursday. Thank you, Lyle. Thank you for your support as always, mate. Hope you well. See, the Verstappen one's interesting. When you read the quote in isolation, you're like, oh God, he was arsey. You know, that was a bit of a comeback, a bit unnecessary. But then when you actually watch it on TV, he was clearly just having a bit of a joke with it, wasn't he? You could see he had the Verstappen smile and the thumbs up or whatever. It was all just he was just doing it in jest. But when you read the quote in isolation, it looks quite catty, but actually it wasn't. It seemed quite jokey. So I thought it was nice because it's true. You know, you stick to commentary, I'll stick to driving. Yeah, I don't think there was much in that. If he's sort of gone, shut your face, Crofty, I hate you, or something like that, and then pulled a really weird face at him and then stormed out in a huff, we'd have a different conversation, of course. But I don't think there's much in that. It was kind of a bit of banter, maybe. I don't know. Maybe. Will Piastri pick off Verstappen down towards turn 1 at the start? Possibly. I've got an itchy nose again. It's the hay fever, sorry. So I'll be doing that throughout. There's no fly, though, which is good news. Start's going to be critical. Looking forward to see what tyres they're on. We are getting ready, though, for the start of the race. So I'll keep my strategy stuff up so I can pop back to that if I need to. But let's start getting everything in place for the music kicking in about 2 minutes' time. Am I going to say it? Can I be bothered with the line? I can't be bothered with the line. If people don't understand how copyright works by now, then I despair. I really do. Sorry to be quite blunt about it. One of them moves today. But yeah. Live timing provided by the awesome folks over at Multiviewer for F1. Links in the description to go and check those guys out. Obviously, the stream is not sponsored, but they are letting us use the live timing for the stream, so at least I could do is give them a little bit of a shout out and send some people their way. Fantastic app if you haven't got it. The app is free, but it will cost you some sort of F1 TV subscription. I think in the UK, the F1 TV access is still about £2.29 a month, so it's not too bad. You get access to the archive as well, but that allows you to use this live timing, which is really cool. So you can customize your viewing experience to have as much data or as little data as you like. And I have way too much data because that's what I end up watching through the race rather than the track action. But yeah, thank you to those guys as always. Please do drop a like on the stream as well before we get started, and subscribe if you're new. Lots to come, like I say, videos in the next couple of days, and shorts as well. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I don't get it, but I quite enjoy making them. They're actually a bit daft. They're quite easy to do. So yeah, I'm not going to moan too much as we watch a replay there of Norris crashing into the wall from qualifying yesterday. And hopefully soon we'll get some tyres to talk about and see what's going on. But let me know your predictions in the chat then. What's your top 3 before we get going, and I'll give you mine. I'm going to go Piastri, Verstappen. What did I say? No, what did I say on? I said Piastri, Norris and Leclerc, didn't I, on Thursday. So I'll go Piastri, Verstappen, and Leclerc. Piastri to pip Max Verstappen into turn 1 at the start. So we'll know pretty quickly if I'm going to be wrong. But the start's a critical point here. So that's my top 3. That's the top 3. It's the only way to watch it live on Sky. In the UK, the only legitimate way to watch it is live on Sky. I'm sure there are more creative ways people can find. I think if it's available in your region, F1 TV, stream it as well. And I'm not sure what the arrangement is with the US. Somebody tried to explain it to me the other week. I think it was, as somebody said yes, it's on cable. I don't know if it's ESPN that still have it or if it's with Fox. I don't know who has it now. So, but yeah, in the UK it is Sky only, unfortunately. Apart from the British Grand Prix, which I believe will be live on Channel 4 again. That's the one they get every year. So there we go. That's my top 3, and I'm standing by it. Kevin, don't start. Just. I probably should have if I've got the outfit on or the shirt on. I should be saying George Russell, and I should have started the stream with Blimey, I suppose. So yeah, I should have put George Russell. You're right. I apologise. Terrible. Piastri, Verstappen, and Russell for a net. I had a feeling you might put Piastri first, but yeah, we're not too far off there. I'm just. You know me, I've got to put some blind faith in Ferrari, even though I'm a naive idiot, as I put it on Thursday in the preview, because I fall for it every single time. It is ESPN apparently in the States. There we go. I got something right. Christ. What's next? Magic? It's not like me to get things right, is it? I was just waiting for these tyres now. I get quite excited to see what tyres people start on, because that's kind of... It gives us an idea how this race might go. If everyone suddenly starts in the mediums, it might not be all that good. But some speculation yesterday, Norris might go with the hards from the start. So Channel 4's got the rights for highlights, Lyle, in the UK. Extended highlights. And then they've got the British Grand Prix, which they can show live. Tommy Guy goes with Verstappen, Piastri and Russell as a prediction there. I think I saw Tim say earlier he'd like to see Tsunoda top 10. So there we go. Piastri, Russell and Norris for Red Raven. Just a gut feeling that Verstappen loses out for one reason or another. Your grid then, I suppose. Gabriel, Bortoleto and Esteban Ocon are on the back row, with Nico, Hulkenberg and Jack Doohan just in front of them. Watch out for Doohan today. He could be quite quick coming through the field, or hopefully will be. Lance Stroll, 16th with Ollie Bearman, alongside him in 15th place in the Haas. Surprising to see Haas down there this weekend. They've shown some good pace lately. Hadjar, 14th, with Fernando Alonso in 13th place. Liam Lawson is in 12th with Alex Albon in 11th. It all gets a bit Red Bull in that area of the grid, doesn't it? But they are together on that row there, with Lando Norris in 10th place after his crash yesterday, and Pierre Gasly once again in the top 10. What a couple of races he's having in 9th place there. Yuki Tsunoda in the top 10 again for Red Bull in 8th. Lewis Hamilton in 7th place. Not overly happy yesterday and seems to be struggling, but let's see if we have a better race today. Carlos Sainz, great qualifying for Carlos, in 6th place with Kimi Antonelli in 5th. Actually, apparently time's still on the table, according to Toto Wolff. 4th place for Leclerc, happy with his lap, but not overly thrilled with where Ferrari are, but it's still a good starting place with George Russell in 3rd. And then your front row, it's a big one. Oscar Piastri in 2nd place with Max Verstappen in pole position. Everybody on the medium tyres, apart from Lando Norris, who does start on the hards, Isaac Hadjar, who is also on the hards, and Lance Stroll and Nico Hulkenberg on hards as well. Now, Stroll does start on a used set of hards, but they've only done one lap, and that's the scrub lap they do during practice. So they are basically new. So, that's good. 4 cars on hards. There will be safety cars. Expect them. We might even get an early red flag if we get a bit of drama, which could then completely blow strategy out the window. But let's see what happens in these early stages. Mostly medium tyres, but yeah. Yes. Russell's doing what he has to do, says Tommy Guy. Points per race brings championships. Do you know what, Tommy? That was kind of the point I was making in my short, that this could be one of those seasons where consistency is really important. So getting those points on the board early, if then Mercedes suddenly unlocks something later in the season with development, or this technical directive in Spain does, as some predict it will and some predict it won't, shake up the field, and Mercedes suddenly end up with a really rocket ship of a car, he brings himself into play, doesn't it? It's the same with Verstappen. Get the points on the board early. It's a long season, a very long season. You know, that crash in qualifying yesterday for Norris, which sees him down in 10th place, once upon a time would have been almost a disaster in a 14, 15 race season, whereas now with 24 races, there's plenty of time to claw that back. So we've got a countdown because it's Saudi Arabia for the formation lap. I mean, that is the most thrilling part of the day. 0% chance of rain, by the way, which I'll give you all 1 second to get over that. Anyone really expecting rain? There you go. Jesus Christ is here. Good to see you. I hope you've had I imagine you had a mixed weekend, to be fair, Jesus, but good to see you here today. That's the most important thing. 1 or 2 stop races, Nick. I think it's 50-50. The official one from Pirelli is they've offered up 3 1-stoppers and a 2-stopper, so they're expecting a 1. That was all the talk coming into this race, that it will be a 1-stopper, but I'm hoping it's going to be one of those that's really borderline. And like not too, it needs to be like right on the line, because if it's a little bit too far the other way, then it's an easy, they could just stretch to 1-stopper. We need something that's going to see tyres fall off a cliff. What's happening to Fernando's? Oh, it's a camera angle. It looked weird. It looked like his wheel was wobbly, but I think it was just a camera angle. But yes. Here we go. Warm-up lap indeed. The formation lap to the grid. 50 laps today. 38.1 degrees track temperature, 28.4 degrees air temperature. That's about 20 degrees more than I'd like it. Ugh. Summer's on the horizon, isn't it? I'm so miserable. I know, I don't care. DRS disabled, obviously. And I didn't see what the padding they're using. You're not going to know now what padding. I assume the blue padding's got to be worn today, so now we'll never know. Now we'll never know. I will try my best to keep you all updated what's going on. I really, really will. Plenty of heroics into turn 1, please. I want chaos, says Red Raven. Yes. Yes. I think this... I don't want to say it again, because it'll be terrible now I've said it again. There you go. Safety car has been deployed at every Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, which if you caught the preview on Thursday, you'd already know that. So there you go. Sorry, I have a feeling it's one of those streams where I look at the chat and just laugh, because we've got banter and chat between Jesus Christ and Kevin, which is just ridiculous. I can't wait for Kevin to explain the Constructors' Championship to him and how important it is. So it's one of the things I love about doing this is you lot, you're mad. In the nicest and most loving way possible, you're nuts. Yes, championship standings. 3 points. I can't count. Yes, it is 3 points between them. Norris on 77, Piastri on 74. Verstappen only 8 behind the lead on 69 points. Kind of want him to stay there, to be honest, on that. But anyway, Russell on 63. So, it's a very open start to the season, despite McLaren's dominance. In quotes there for you. So, this could be good. Here we go. They are coming down to the grid now. Just a reminder, everyone on mediums apart from Norris, Hadjar, Stroll and Hulkenberg all on the Haas. I'm going to take a 10-second break just for a quick drink, and I'm back with you. Ah, that's better. Lyle says, imagine Jesus Christ meeting you and Jonty. Who's to say Jonty's not? You know? Don't see him anymore. Been a bit busy this weekend. I don't know what I've just said there. I apologise if that's offended anybody, but you know. Anyway, they're coming up. Quickly, start the race before Shaw says something. Keep going. Let's see. Yeah, we've got some celebrities in the garages there, which I'm sure we'll see lots of. Good to see the grandstands packed. Please just start the race, for God's sake. Here we go then. They're lining up now. We've got the quite slow actually to the grid here. It's interesting. Safety car restarts could be quite one to keep an eye out for, because I wonder when they're going to bolt down that straight, and whether there's been any word about waiting too long and potentially causing backups like we saw at the Tuscan Grand Prix. I'll count down the lights. There's the green flag. It's 1 light, 2, 3, 4, 5 lights. It's lights out and away we go in Saudi Arabia. It's a good start for Verstappen, but Piastri is alongside him on the run down to turn 1. They are side by side. Verstappen around the outside, Piastri on the inside. Verstappen, his usual trick across the chicane at turn 1. Antonelli up to 4th, but have to give that one back because he did cut the chicane. I think Verstappen may have to give that back. They were side by side. What's going on behind? I can't keep up with the time. It's pointless. I'll try and walk you through. Oh, we got a crash at the back there. It's Tsunoda and Pierre Gasly in the wall at turn 4 and 5. That will be a safety car. Possibly a red, although I think you can quite easily recover the car from there. But it is quite a wallop there for Pierre Gasly. But Max Verstappen does still lead the pack. And we've lost our first car already. Tsunoda has got going, I believe. He's not on the track map, to be fair, but I definitely saw him start to move. That will have to be a safety car. They'll let them race a little bit further because the action's around the other side of the track at the moment with the crash. So, but Verstappen does still have the lead here. What do we think, chat? We'll see a replay, I'm sure, shortly of what happened there. But I suspect, I mean, the argument would be, did Piastri run him off the road? The other argument would be, did Verstappen cut the corner? And that is a safety car. I mean, he did cut the corner. Safety car. So we'll wait for a replay there. It's going to come down to whether or not they consider that a lap one, turn one incident and Piastri's pushed him off, or whether they feel Verstappen decided to bail there to keep the position. This could be interesting. So here is the crash again we're going to watch. So Tsunoda on the inside, Gasly on the outside, and then sort of understeers a little bit into him, does he? Or does Gasly come across? It's right front to left rear, and round they go. Both hit the wall. I suspect Tsunoda will have to... He is still going, but I imagine that he's got damage. I can't see that being any kind of penalty. I don't think Tsunoda's done anything nuts there, and I don't think Gasly's done anything crazy either. That looks like a first lap incident to me. It would be good to see Gasly's on board and see what he's doing with his steering wheel there. But yeah, it looks like a racing incident first, that one for me. Tsunoda definitely tagged the wall there, but he has kept going and he's got some speed. So I say speed under the safety car, but we'll see now what they decide to do. That's a mess there. Gasly is out the car. He's fine, as you'd expect. But yes, they've got a crane now ready to recover it. So this isn't going to be anything other than a safety car. What's Piastri going to say? Here we go on the radio. I can guess. He needs to give that back. I was ahead. I need to see a replay. I thought Piastri had that into turn one, to be honest. We've got some pitters, by the way. Doohan, Ocon, Bortoleto, all in. It looks like Tsunoda's coming as well. They're all going to the hard tyre. So now we're going to find out whether or not this switch to a softer compound by Pirelli has actually made any difference whatsoever around here. Because these guys, theoretically... don't have to stop again. So Tsunoda's in to be checked for damage. They're looking at the rear of the car. He tagged it with the sort of left-hand side of his rear wing, didn't he? And back of the car there. So they are going to put some hards on if they do keep going. And the mechanic at the back has just done that. So I assume that's a no for Tsunoda. I think we've lost Yuki Tsunoda here as well. And that's not the X factor. It may have been. But no, they're packing it all away. Yuki Tsunoda is out of the race. We've lost Yuki Tsunoda and Pierre Gasly on the first lap after that collision, which again, I don't think that was... We'll talk about Verstappen and Piastri in a minute, but I don't think Tsunoda... In fact, we won't. We'll talk about it now because here's the restart. That's a great angle. Cracking start from Piastri, but actually, not a bad start from Verstappen, to be fair. Piastri just got a much better run to turn one. Piastri is... Piastri's ahead. Yeah. He's on... I mean... The trouble is, I think Piastri just ahead there. They're definitely at least equal into that corner. The trouble is, where's Verstappen? He's going to have to cut the corner. It's whether or not he needs to give that back, isn't it? That's the question. Not anything other than that. But this is just a Tsunoda Gasly one into turn. Yeah, there's nothing there between Tsunoda and Gasly. It's just a first lap. What is it? Martin Brundle says 2 into 1 doesn't go. Yeah. Norris avoiding that one as well. But yeah, no, I think at turn one, I think they are at least side by side. You can argue Piastri's ahead. In fact, this will be a great angle for it. Actually, what does Piastri do? On board with Piastri's turn one. He's ahead at that point. Then Verstappen late on the brakes. I mean, Verstappen has to go... Verstappen has to cut the corner, otherwise there's contact. The question is now whether or not he has to give that position back because he kept that position by going off track. Does that make sense? If it doesn't, I apologise. But that's, yeah. He's got to cut the corner or there's contact. So now it's about whether or not he needs to give it back. So it's a tricky corner. We've seen loads of it with F2 this weekend. Some have been punished and some haven't. I think one driver got done for forcing somebody off track. Another driver got done for cutting the corner. So it could go either way here. And the stewards might just look at that as a turn one incident. But Piastri looked ahead. But then there might be another angle in a minute that makes me go, oh, hang on a minute. That's the way it goes. So they are investigating that. So the stewards have seen something wrong there. So I suspect there's going to be a radio call in a moment for Verstappen to give that back, which is probably thinking longer term for Verstappen in the championship. It's probably the best thing to do, the smartest thing to do, because you don't want to be a safety car in this lap, because you don't want to be throwing points away with penalties at this stage. But the problem is, if Piastri gets through, that's probably game over for the race because he will disappear. Watching Gasly on board here. Yeah, there's nothing. Yeah, Gasly's left space. Tsunoda's left a bit of space. Yeah. I don't think there's anything in that. Here's the Verstappen replay on board as they are all coming around turn 13. We've got a few minutes here, about a minute here just before the safety car comes in. Yeah, again, Verstappen's got to cut the corner to avoid contact. He's going to say he forced me off. That's what he said. But it's whether or not he has to give that back or not. So we'll see what the stewards decide. Let's see what he's saying in chat. Why not? Overcooked it, dang, says Alex. Tighter than a surgeon, says Tony. Circuit is not one you risk your car breaking on, so retiring Tsunoda was the right choice. Good point. Very good point. Keep an eye on this while I see what you're saying there. Yeah, nobody really screaming too much here, to be honest. So Piastri saying he's never going to make the corner regardless of whether I was there or not. So he's obviously, I mean, shocking. He's nailed his colours to the mast there. If I was Red Bull, and I know that it's probably going to mean that Piastri disappears into the distance, I would tell Max to give that back to avoid a penalty, because a 5 or 10 second penalty here is going to be far more damaging than having to settle potentially for second place. I know Max Verstappen doesn't want to be second. You don't need to tell me that. I know that, but that's what I will be doing. But that's why I'm not a strategist or a team boss, because I'd be terrible. What does Jesus think? Tell us, Jesus. What's the decision? Is it a penalty for Max? Does he have to give the position back, or do you think that's hard, fair racing? And of course, we will have to defer to your knowledge there. We are about to get going. I can't believe we're having this conversation. It's a 5-second time penalty for Max Verstappen for leaving the track and gaining an advantage. But we'll talk about that in a minute. Here comes the restart. Max Verstappen has got a penalty, 5-second time penalty. And we'll go again in Jeddah. Oscar Piastri having to defend here from George Russell, who's got 3 wide into turn 1, with Leclerc trying to get involved there. But I think Piastri will hang on to that one. He does indeed. And Russell ends up staying 3rd, but Leclerc is still in 4th place. Antonelli just behind in 5th. Nothing doing further back. Norris is down in 8th at the moment, so he has been a couple of positions following the crash for Gasly and Tsunoda. But a fairly steady start after they got through there. Leclerc thought better of going 3 wide into turn 1. Don't blame him at all. And Piastri had the inside to had that one covered. But it is, to confirm, a 5-second time penalty for Max Verstappen for leaving the track and gaining an advantage. And the stewards are going to have a look, or are noting, the Tsunoda Gasly crash on lap 1. So there you go. That resolves the whole debate around Max Verstappen. Now what he's got to do is build a 5-second gap to Piastri, which is going to be pretty tough. So he has got a penalty. There you go. Confirmed. Foot says that was a dirty restart by Max. He went, stopped, and then went again. I'll be honest, I saw the penalty pop up, so I wasn't really watching what he was doing down the straight, so I have to take your word on that one. But it'll just depend on whether or not, well, we'll know. If the stewards decide to look at that one and say that was naughty, then we'll soon hear, I'm sure. But yeah, there we go. I don't think Tsunoda Gasly needs to be anything. I don't think there's any penalty in there. I think that's just 6 to 1, half dozen the other. So, yeah. Nice opportunity here for Isaac Hadjar up the inside of Fernando Alonso into the final corner. And DRS isn't enabled yet, but Alonso has come back in. And we need to watch this side by side, please, Mr. Director. And here comes Alonso back at Hadjar now to the outside of turn 1. DRS is now enabled. Lawson getting interested, but Hadjar does make the move stick and keeps the position into turn 1. Fernando Alonso down to 11th place. Lance Stroll is in 14th place in the Aston Martin, but a nice move there from Hadjar. Worth doing it on that lap because the DRS wasn't enabled, but going forward, final corner moves are a bit risky as Yuki Tsunoda there looks a bit miserable. Understandably, he's out of the race after the first lap on his way back to the paddock, or in the paddock. So, yeah, shame there for Yuki, but what do you think, chat? Tsunoda Gasly, do you agree with me that that's just one of those first lap things, or do you think that's a penalty for either? Let me know in chat. So there we go. Verstappen has been told he's got a 5-second penalty. Told head down by GP. And he said, well, that is effing lovely. So there you go. I think 5 seconds is the standard for leaving the track, getting an advantage, but it's 10 seconds for forcing another driver off the track. Am I right on that? I think. I think that's it. It kind of got clarified last year, and then I think we all got confused around Mexico, and then it got clarified again. So I think it is 5 seconds for leaving the track and getting an advantage, which is what you get for track limits. So that would make sense. And then it's 10 seconds for forcing another driver off or a collision. So yeah, they give the harsher penalty for what they see as the bigger. The bigger incident here is Lando Norris with DRS on Carlos Sainz on a run to turn one. Will he send it in there? No, he doesn't. He's way too far back, Sean. Don't turn into Crofty. He was too far back to try anything there without contact. But yeah, Norris is with Sainz with DRS. Lots of cars will be within that DRS zone now. But yeah, Max Verstappen, Piastri, Russell is still the top three, a second between them. At the front, Piastri fastest lap last time around. This might settle down a little bit now while they try and stretch some tyres out. I'm also going to keep an eye on those who pitted for the hard tyre, so do an Ocon and Bortoleto, and see how far they go on these, because that might give us an indication later in the race what these tyres are going to do. But they could be sitting pretty. They could be if we get another safety car. Easy Piastri win, says Nick the Greek. I guess for Piastri now, he doesn't need to try anything silly, does he? Because he knows that Max has got a 5-second penalty, so stay sort of within that. And then when Max pits, you know you've got that 5 seconds back straight away. So I'm sure if he gets close enough to have a go, he will, but he doesn't need to try anything silly. His other rival, Lando Norris, is down in 8th at the moment, so no panic for Piastri. No panic for Piastri, that's nice. Piastri panicked. I'll save that one. I hate these rules. Just drive people off the track is perfectly okay. If Max doesn't go wide, they wreck. It's so stupid, says Junior Johnson. Junior Johnson Racing, sorry. I should give you your full name there. I think the problem with the regulations is the same as we've always said. It's the inconsistency. What, 1 week that's a turn one, lap one incident. Another week it's a penalty. So that's my problem. We'll see if that happens in Miami. Let's see what happens. But I agree with you. If Max doesn't cut that corner, it's going to be a collision. But also, he has kept the position by being off track, so I can see why they've gone the other way with it. So, yeah. There you go. Lando Norris is through into 7th place. I'm not going to spend all race discussing it, of course, because there's other things going on. But the penalty's been given, so I guess, actually, opinions really are irrelevant in a way, because the stewards have made their call now. It's not the way it works, though, is it? So here goes Norris into turn one. DRS open. Easy move on Sainz. Sainz isn't going to fight that too hard. He did say earlier in the weekend, talking about the battle with Tsunoda and co last weekend, which cost him in the race, and maybe he should think more about his own race rather than battling those at the front. So maybe part of that in there for him as well. Who had the best start then? Isaac Hadjar, actually, up 4 places so far. Norris is up 3. I appreciate 2 of those are because of a collision for both of those drivers, but that's still, even without the collision, a couple of places gained for Hadjar there. So everyone will have gained pretty much, apart from Sainz, who's down 2. But given that he's been passed by Norris and Hamilton, I'm not totally shocked there, given those cars. The battles at the moment, Piastri and Verstappen, sort of 1 to 1.2 seconds is the gap. Flitting between that is 1.152 at the moment. Russell now 2.2 behind Piastri. Leclerc 1.9 behind Russell. Antonelli only 7/10 behind Charles Leclerc, so that could be the next fight we see. Hamilton 1.9 behind Antonelli, with Norris now 1.5 behind Hamilton. Track limits obviously deleted, therefore, or lap time deleted for Verstappen for track limits at turn 1 on that first one, or turn 2 technically, I think. Sainz 7/10 behind Norris, a second back to Albon, then it's a 7/10 back to Hadjar, 8/10 back to Alonso, 7/10 back to Lawson, 7 back to Bearman, 1.5 back to Stroll, and then 5-7. So it's close. It's close throughout the field. But we'll see what happens as the race unfolds. But it's looking at the moment like it is Verstappen versus Piastri, and with Verstappen having that 5-second penalty, it's barely even that, really, is it? So I was just trying to listen there to what we're talking about gaps, I think. So Verstappen needs a 26-second gap to drop into, because it's 21 seconds for a pit stop. So he needs a big gap here. But I've just got a feeling these tyres are going to go quite a way. I don't know why. It's very F1 for them to go, we're going to bring softer tyres to give us some great strategy, and then we just get the same. We'll see. It might be great. We'll see if they fall off or not. But Piastri just closing in a little bit on that lap, not by a lot or through that lap, but Verstappen marginally quicker over the line. Verstappen has got a penalty, 5-second time penalty. That's already confirmed, all done and dusted. It's gone down as, what was it? Was it leaving the track? Yeah, leaving the track and gaining an advantage in that moment with Piastri there. So Unlucky for Tsunoda. He was looking promising, says Sighted Canvas. Yeah, I feel for Tsunoda. I think a decent weekend. I know when you see Verstappen on pole and Tsunoda down in 8th, it's maybe hard to get excited by that. But given everything that's gone on at that team, that second seat, I think he's done all right. And it's a shame to see him out. But street track, these things happen, don't they? Yeah, it'll be a 5-second during his pit stop, Tony. He'll come in and make the stop. He has to by the regulations. So if you make a stop, you have to serve the penalty. If you don't stop, then you can put it on at the end. But obviously Verstappen's not made his mandatory stop, so he needs to pit anyway. So whatever happens, it's 5 seconds at the pit stop, and then obviously the pit stop itself. So what, 7-8 seconds, something like that, won't it? So it's gonna get a big gap. Sorry. Max Verstappen was told about the lap time being deleted at turn 2. He's just said it. I thought they weren't going to count that. That was discussed in the briefing. So I'm assuming that they weren't going to count that because of the penalty or because it's the lap 1, turn 1. I don't know. But yeah, interesting what that briefing conversation is. Interesting. I don't know. I'm not listening to the conversation in commentary because otherwise this will just be me sat here watching the F1, which is not the point, is it? We're supposed to be chatting. But Piastri is closing in now. He's got the DRS fastest lap as well, 1:33.418. Last lap was a 33.5 to Verstappen's 33, nearly 8, 7.98. And he's now within DRS. This is where the battle is going to start. So we are going to see a replay of the start again here. Yeah, Piastri gets a really cracking start, actually, to be fair. And he is ahead at that point. And then Verstappen... That's a weird one, you know. That's, as someone said in chat, if he stays there, there's a collision, so he's got to cut the corner. So I can see why people are agreeing with the penalty, but I can also see why people disagree with it, because it's one of those that's a little bit borderline, potentially is maybe the wrong word, but yeah, I don't know. Look, the penalty's been given. It doesn't matter what I think, really, but I think we've seen them not given, and we've now again seen them given. So I don't know. He has to cut the corner. There's no option. He can't slam on the brakes because there'll be a collision anyway. And if he's not hit by Piastri, he'll be hit by somebody behind. So he's got to cut the corner. But he has also kept the position by cutting the corner. So it's a bit, yeah, whatever. They've given a 5-second penalty. Yeah, Sema, exactly. Do you know what, Sema? I was just going to say very similar. Said very borderline. Should have just swapped the positions. I wonder if they had swapped them, if they would have let that go. Weird. Hey ho, that's the decision. A second now between them, so no longer in DRS, Oscar Piastri. So Max just stretching out that lap. 33.8, a couple of tenths quicker than Piastri, who's now back within a second as they go through turn 1. But it's that I'm watching through middle sector here. Will be interesting when they get there. Just coming through the first sector. Not even got through that one yet, Sean. Hold your horses. Russell dropping off here. In fact, I'll tell you where Russell is at this stage of the race. He's in no man's land. He is 2.8, 2.9 behind Piastri and 2.4 ahead of Leclerc. Antonelli's dropped off the back of Leclerc now as well. Albon, that's what I was going to mention. I used to say this yesterday. Albon getting a bit stroppy. Not stroppy. Stroppy is the wrong word, but a bit sharp with his engineering. He seems to be sort of, this season, we've seen another side to Alex Albon. He seems a little bit more, I don't know. I don't want to say stroppy because I don't mean stroppy, but I can't think of another word for it. Sort of arguing back a bit more with his engineering. I don't know if that's just we're hearing more of it, or because the arrival of Carlos Sainz has put a bit of pressure on him, or he's maybe thinking with Sainz there he wants to prove he's the leader of that team. I don't know, but just had a few messages like that this season from Alex Albon, which I don't really recall hearing too much before outside of these guys race me so hard. Dashcam says track limit should be treated as if there was a barrier or wall. As in, if you take track limits, then you're out of the race. Oh, Dashcam. I want to put you in charge of the FIA for a weekend. That'd be great fun to watch. And no cars have finished. I mean, take the point as usual. If there's a gravel trap there, then Max can't cut the corner, but then they collide, don't they? So, yeah, I like that. Never going to happen. Never going to happen. Good point. We'll keep an eye on that, Kevin. If George can stay under 5 seconds, he'll be second. He's not matching Max. He's a couple of sets slow on that lap again. So Russell's one to watch, but 3.3 at the moment. Lando says tyres are hot, so clean air will be incredible, is what he's saying there. So he's currently tucked up behind Lewis Hamilton, and we've seen a couple of passes, but we're seeing here it's not easy to follow here, and it's not easy to overtake, which I feel like you could probably take as a statement and stick it in any stream for pretty much any race on this calendar. So there you go. That's just F1 at the minute, isn't it? Piastri is keeping the pressure. You're right, keeping the pressure on. Keep the pressure on Verstappen, but it's about a second. Is he going to get within DRS here? He's just under a second. Is that? I can't remember where the detection point is for the first zone. You've got to go 20 corners. I kept saying it in Formula 2 this weekend. You've got to go 20 corners before you get DRS at this track. So it's quite a gap, but we'll keep an eye on what Piastri does here. He is within DRS. He is going to be through this final corner. They come through 27 now, 7 tenths behind. Is that close enough with DRS? Or do we need a couple more tenths there for Piastri to go for this? And we're watching here, Lando Norris up the inside of Lewis Hamilton into the final corner. That's going to give Hamilton DRS into turn 1. Will he fight that? That's the question. DRS open for Hamilton, and Hamilton's going back at him now into turn 1, and he's just ahead there, and he comes back across, cuts across Norris to make sure he keeps the position, and Hamilton is back through. That's what I was saying at the start, is really, unless you know you've got the pace down that straight, there's no point passing into the final corner with DRS, and Piastri didn't threaten, by the way, Max Verstappen in the end. George Russell now nearly 4 seconds off Piastri and nearly 5 seconds off the lead, so I think George here is probably looking at third place at best. You never know what's going to happen ahead, of course. We saw some difficult pit stops for Red Bull last time out, although they seem to have found that problem and solved it, so hopefully that won't be an issue for them this weekend. But we're going to watch now for a bit. We're watching Piastri on board in the picture-in-picture, but we're watching at the moment Lewis Hamilton take on Lando Norris, or Lando Norris take on Lewis Hamilton. Ferrari versus McLaren for 6th and 7th place. There is a little bit of a gap, to a 2.5 second gap to Antonelli, so that'll give him a bit of clear air, Norris, but it won't be long before he's on the back of that Mercedes, and he's got the DRS, as you'd expect. As they come through 22 and 23, then it's going to be detection and DRS again, 25 to 27. Will he try it again in that final corner? Let's see if he's not learnt his lesson. That sounds ridiculously condescending, but you know my point. He's going to go for it into the final corner again, is Lando Norris. So he's sort of pushed him a little bit further out wide there to make that more difficult. And what does that mean? And then, yeah, Hamilton's just going to get DRS again on the run to turn 1. He gets the DRS and back out. Back through. So that's just... I wonder why Lando went for that. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but I'm not doing that in the heat at the moment in a race car, am I? So I'll keep my mouth shut, but I'm surprised he did that. Lando should know better, to be honest. That was pretty obvious, says Daniel. That was from earlier, so there we go. Delcano says rookie mistake from Norris. It was quite a late... It looked like a late decision. Oh, I see. So Brundle there theorising, I guess, that maybe Hamilton wanted him to go through at that point, knowing that he'd have the DRS on the straight down there. I don't know. Just his theory, I guess. Yeah, Daniel actually saying that in chat as well. Maybe Lewis is just forcing him and doing it smart. It's what we saw with... It's why I'm sort of gutted they moved that line, because I know it was a bit ridiculous and maybe a bit dangerous, but I really enjoyed that Verstappen, Leclerc, double lockups trying to make sure they're behind the line at the DRS detection. That was quite fun. It was a nice bit of strategy and a bit daft, but I get why they did it. You can't have that, really. Strat 8, play the game is what Norris is being told. I'm guessing Strat 8 is don't overtake until after turn 27. But yeah, it is just after the corner as well. So if he can sort of get alongside Hamilton and stay behind through that corner, I don't know. But then we're going to have the same batter. We don't want to see that. And there we go. He's got the DRS this time, Norris. He learned from his mistake, if you like, and he's now going to go through and moves up into 6th place at the third time of asking. Norris is through. He's got a gap now to answer. That cost him some time, you know. It cost him about a second in total. He's now 3.4 behind Antonelli. The gap was 2.5. So, yeah, it's cost him there. But he's through. and he can now chase after Antonelli and get on after Leclerc and Russell and who knows, maybe Piastri and Verstappen, which is a 1.5 second gap at the front, by the way. Russell 5.8 back off the lead. 4.3 obviously behind Piastri. Just want to say that Max literally got a penalty in 2021 for what Lewis did, says Dell. Oh, this, I thought you meant, I was like, here's me going through the whole of 2021 trying to work out penalties, and I was like, I can't do that, I have got a week. No, I know what you mean now, yeah, sorry, I just been a bit thick there, Del, not the first time, I know, but I was like, I'm not going through every single penalty given in 2021 to those two, good lord. If McLaren can't overtake a Ferrari, you really think they have a chance against the Red Bull, says Hans? I don't know. I can't read Piastri. And if Piastri's just playing the game here, he knows Norris is still coming through the field. He's got a gap back to him. Keep Verstappen well within 5 seconds. As soon as Verstappen pits, he knows he's going to get 5 seconds back, so don't challenge. But Norris struggled to get past the Ferrari because Norris didn't play the game at the final corner, those 2 attempts. So once he did play that game, he breezed past. So I think so. But yeah. Verstappen might be a bit more punchy at the front, perhaps, than Lewis Hamilton in 6th place. Yeah. We shall... Hopefully, Hans, we'll find out. Hopefully we're going to get a great scrap at the front. We'll see how we go. Who's doing what sort of further down the field then in terms of lap time? Lap times are good, by the way. We're not cruising around out there. We're on board with Hamilton on the radio. Just sliding around out here. Can't turn rears, says Hamilton. So fastest lap incoming. Told overheating. Not happy, is he, Lewis Hamilton? And I'm going to get told by a Lewis Hamilton fan now, well, what do you expect? And I completely understand that, but not happy at all. What was I going to say? Lap times are pretty good, but down sort of further down the field, Ocon 9/10 behind Doohan about a second off Hulkenberg. Alonso 9/10 behind Lawson, battle for 11th and 12th. That's kind of it, really, in terms of battles. What we're waiting for now is what Piastri decides to do, and whether Norris can catch Antonelli, which he absolutely can at that pace, 7/10 quicker on the last lap. So we're waiting to see what happens now with Norris and Antonelli, I suppose. We've got some gaps out there, maybe some tyre management. Piastri now 1.7 off the lead. I wonder if they're thinking, get that gap, look after tyres a bit, overheat, cool the car. It is hot. What is the predicted pit window? Good question. I've forgotten. I did it earlier. I've forgotten. So laps 16 to 22 for the mediums was the original one. But, of course, we had a couple of laps under the safety car, didn't we? So you could probably put another few laps on that then. So in the next couple of laps, you'd expect to see the first scheduled stops. It depends how much they save the tyres during that safety car. We've passed the idea of a 2-stopper, I think. 10 to 16 was that one, so I think we're past that now. Well, maybe not. There might still be a 2-stopper in there, but I think you'll probably find that if the schedule was 16 to 22, you'll probably find that we're going to be pushing more like 25. I might be wrong. I might prove very wrong very, very soon. I reckon Max will need to box soon, says Haley. I've not seen his tyres, actually, to be honest, so... but he is very suddenly 2.4 clear of Piastri. So I wonder if Piastri has sort of backed off a little bit just to get that gap for cooling, or Max is pushing and he is going to go for a stop. Let's see what they do over the line. So Verstappen does a 1:33.7, Piastri a 1:34.2. Russell's the one I want to see now. 34.5. So yeah, maybe Verstappen pushing them, maybe. But it is 2.2 seconds a gap now. Nick says Pirelli needs a C6 tyre. Pirelli have got a C6 tyre, Nick. The first time we're going to see it is Imola. It was made for street tracks. That's what it was designed for. I guess we do count Australia as a street track where we didn't have the C6. Jeddah's a street track where we don't have the C6. Miami's a street track where we don't have the C6. Imola is not a street track, but we do have the C6. I love this sport. I really do sometimes, but it baffles me. Obviously to do with loads of things through tyres, but yeah, we do have we Imola for the C6. I imagine Monaco as well will be C6 too. I haven't actually seen their selection for that one, so. Cited Canvas says, are they using C4? It's explosive. Very good. My tyres are toast, says George Russell there. Good stuff. Got away with words. Verstappen now 2.6 clear at the front. So what do you think, chat? Is he pushing, or is Piastri just backed off to get a gap? Thinking about cooling the car, looking after tyres a bit more. Extinct wants to know what happened with Yuki. Yuki crashed with Gasly on the first lap. A bit of I think, a first lap incident, and not much in it there, to be honest. But yeah, they both retired in the first lap. Tsunoda did get back to the pits, but unfortunately there's too much damage to the car, and he got out, and that was the end of that for him. Norris is now in the back of Antonelli with DRS hit on the run to turn 1. Is he close enough? He is going to have a go into turn 1. He's got the inside as well. Antonelli, I think it's fair to say, didn't fight that all that much there, and Norris slides through into 5th place. So he is top 5 with a 5.1 second gap to Leclerc, 15.3 off the lead. I think they're talking commentary about a one-stopper, so... Max has to push. Oscar has to only keep up and not push that hard. Very true. As into the pits comes Ollie Bearman. It's a slow stop. Was it right rear? 4.2 seconds? Possibly. He's going to come out of the back, but he's putting on the hard tyre. He didn't pit under the safety car. So that is a new set for him. And one stop. Pace should be good, though. So Red Bull are getting ready. So I think Max was pushing there. So yeah, it's a 2 point. He's got a 3 second gap. So he's being told there's still traffic we'd pit into, but they've come out in the pit lane. 19 seconds average time lost in the pits. Has he pitted? He is pit. No, he isn't. Piastri in. So Piastri pits. So they're going to go for this then. And where's Piastri going to come out here? This is interesting. He's going to come out somewhere down behind, ahead of Sainz, I think, behind Hamilton. Slightly slow, 3.4 seconds. So it's lost him a second there, and Verstappen had a 3 second gap up front nearly. Interesting. So where's he going to cut? So I said about behind Hamilton and ahead of Sainz. So Antonelli's pitted as well. He has come out just ahead of Carlos Sainz behind Hamilton. So he needs to clear Hamilton quickly, Piastri. But that slow stop... Let's see. Alonso's pitted as well. Antonelli's in, like I say. Piastri has already stopped too. I hope the timing tower is right. I think it is. Yeah, it is. Awesome. Pick a driver and I can check it. Bearman is... No, it's Ocon, Sean. Wake up. Yeah, it's fine. I wasn't sure what was going on. I thought the time tower was wrong, but it's not. It's all good. So the Verstappen. Does Verstappen react? He's been told to push. Push, Max, push. Push to the max, Max, push. That's what he's being told. Not quite that, but 9.1 clear Russell. So he has got 22.5 back to Piastri. So he's going to have to push very hard. Where was the slow stop? It was the left rear or the right rear? Right. Possibly both, actually. Left and right rear, but not horrifically slow, but it's a second. Verstappen continues as Piastri does a purple first sector, and already he's going to bring that gap down, but he's got to clear Hamilton. So if Hamilton stays out, this might help Verstappen a little bit, but Piastri 1.3 behind Lewis as in comes George Russell from P3. Norris up to 3rd. Leclerc 2nd. A safety car now would be... pretty disastrous for Piastri, wouldn't it? Just making that point now in case it happens. So Russell rejoins in front of Carlos Sainz. That's the gap, isn't it? That's the gap. Just behind Carlos Sainz according to the timing tower, but I'm sure sorry, I'm wrong. Behind Sainz ahead of Albon. That makes sense, yeah. So quick recap. I think Crofty's doing well, actually, fully enough, but a quick recap of what's happened while we wait to see what goes on here. At the start, Verstappen and Piastri side by side into turn one. Piastri, everything you have, Max Verstappen told. Piastri was slightly ahead, and then they went into the corner. Verstappen cut the corner. Stewart decided he left the track and gained an advantage, so he was given a 5-second time penalty. Tsunoda and Gasly crashed around the first lap as well. I think a racing incident, so nothing doing now. We just got to watch Piastri here on Lewis Hamilton. He needs to clear him now. It goes to the outside. That's a lovely move from Piastri. That's a nice move. Outside and then inside. That was quite ballsy, actually. I know he's got fresh tyres, but that was a cracking move and a critical move because Verstappen is pitting. In he comes. So don't forget, Verstappen has to wait for 5 seconds before the team can even touch his car. Here we go. Waiting for the 5 seconds. I bet it's more than 5 seconds. Leclerc takes the lead. Safety car, safety car, safety car. Leclerc takes the lead. So Verstappen will fall behind Piastri. Piastri now down the start-finish straight. So I think Verstappen will be in that gap that I was talking about between Hamilton and Sainz. And there we go. So Verstappen is going to be net P2. George Russell is not going to get him. Russell, oh, he was a bit closer than I thought he might be, but not close enough to be a threat. So Piastri, net leader from Verstappen, and then Russell. Leclerc, Norris has yet to stop. Hamilton yet to stop as well. Sainz is in. So that gap has been ruined. Best overtake of the race. Non on DRS. Organic overtake. Beautiful, says Nick the Greek. Piastri... I don't know if Piastri had DRS through there. I can't remember. Here we go. We'll find out in a minute. He might have DRS, but even if that is DRS, that's still a ballsy move around there. I'm trying to work out where he is on the track. I'm rubbish with Jeddah. Absolutely rubbish. Close to the wall as well on the exit was Piastri, that final corner. Goodness me. Still a great move, though. Still a great move. So Leclerc leads. Verstappen has served his penalty. That's cleared up on the timing screen. But Leclerc out front from Norris, yet to stop both of them. Hamilton as well. So Verstappen will need to dispatch Lewis Hamilton as quickly as he can to close that gap back to Piastri. But if Verstappen does want to win this, he's going to have to overtake Oscar Piastri on the track. Unless Oscar makes a mistake. Kevin says, this will be good now. I hope so. It was okay before, but it's sort of come alive around a pit stops as F1 tends to do now. I love Piastri overtakes with all my heart, says Anushka. I think Verstappen is cooked, says Haley. Annie Boy says, I wonder if they'll tell Norris to get out of Piastri's way. Russell says, consider plan B. Let's see how these tyres go. So he's obviously thinking, what's plan B? Yeah, confirmation, by the way, from the stewards. Penalty was served by Verstappen correctly. So there we go. I like that we get that on the timing screen now as Albon pits for Williams. And we'll drop through the order now. That early stop, if the tyres are going to be all right, for Ocon and Doohan has worked out really nicely. Ocon 11th and Doohan in 12th. So good stuff there. Here goes Verstappen now. He's trying to get past Hamilton. Is he going to try where Piastri had a go? Not quite. He's got the run. Is it DRS? I can't remember what DRS is through here. The corners all look the same in Jeddah, and someone's going to go, they look completely different, but to me they do. But I'm getting old. Leave me alone. So here we go. So Verstappen, yeah, so Piastri would have had DRS, but it was still a cracking move, and he's not quite got enough there, Verstappen, to get it done on Hamilton. This is costing him a lot of time. This is working beautifully for Piastri, who I do think, to be fair, now that Verstappen has been dispatched, I suppose, you could word it that way. I do think that, as Hamilton's pitting this lap, by the way, I do think that Verstappen's just gone around the outside of Lewis Hamilton at the final corner, as you do. I know fresher tyres. Hamilton's going to pit anyway, so not going to fight that back. And that's a nice move from Verstappen. So a great move from Piastri. A really nice move as well from Verstappen there. So good to see. Piastri 33-1. But yeah, I do think that Piastri with clear air out front will drive away. So for Verstappen, it's about cementing P2. But I'm sure he's going to try for P1. Let's see what pace he's got. Hamilton, where's he going to drop to? Hadjar up to 6th, by the way, yet to stop. He started on the hard tyres, so that was a good call. What's the gap? Russell to Norris. That's what we're looking at now, isn't it? Leclerc, 17 seconds clear of Russell in 5th. Interesting. So they're talking about the tyre offset potentially. Just leave Norris out there for as long as possible now, see what they could do. But Piastri's absolutely flying. 33.1 last lap. He's just gone purple in the first sector again. So the pace is there, as we suspected. So Piastri now will just get on with it, I would imagine, and do a Bahrain and sort of disappear a bit now. No way Max overtakes Lewis last corner. Surely he did, Nick, right round the outside. It was a corking move. Here goes Alex Albon, I think, on Hulkenberg. And then Sainz, on the same straight, gets past Jack Doohan. So, yeah, tyre offset clearly working there. Purple middle sector again for Piastri, so he's on it here. This is going to be a very good lap from Oscar. It's a 32.7. Very good lap indeed. He is now 4.5 seconds clear of Max Verstappen. So, yeah, I know there's the 5-second penalty, but there's the 3 seconds his slow stop and the gap was there anyway. So that's still pretty good from Piastri. So where are we now? So the net, assuming no safety cars, your net positions are Piastri leading Verstappen, Russell. Am I right? I think so, yeah. And then it's Leclerc and Norris. I think. Alonso and Lawson is not the battle I want for him. This is Hermes. What's going on? Where is Alonso? Down in 17th, 2 tenths behind. Lawson now ahead of Bortoleto, though. Oh, was that contact there? I think it was. I was watching the timing screens, but I think there was contact between Alonso and Bortoleto. I'm going to take a guess here that Lawson's got through. Alonso's tried to follow him. Bortoleto wasn't expecting him to be there, maybe, as Alonso gives up the position having cut the corner. So we'll see that again. We'll see what happens. I need to replay that. I just caught Alonso going off the first corner as Crofty went, oh, like he does. That was my Crofty impression. We'll wait for a replay. So here we go. So Lawson goes past Bortoleto on the right-hand side. Bortoleto stay out. Oh, yes, that's exactly what happened. Bortoleto came across, not expecting Alonso to be there. Said he moved under braking just a little bit, Fernando. So he wasn't expecting Alonso to be there. Obviously didn't see the second car. Came across and then... Oh, did he just touch the wall there, Fernando, as well? I'm not sure if he might not have done. That was very close. That would have been a big crash. All okay. Of course, Alonso then cuts the corner and gives the position back. But, yeah, that was close to a massive accident there. Coy says Leclerc is really pushing the tires at this point, and Hans says, I'm surprised that Norris hasn't caught Leclerc. Yeah, I mean, they're pretty evenly matched, actually, in lap times, aren't they, to be fair? 33.5 and 33.6. Leclerc just ever so slightly quicker than Norris. So Alonso has got past Bortoleto, gave him a look as he went past, you know. So maybe Leclerc has got some good pace here, but if you just keep going, what Leclerc needs, and I think there'll be an element of this for both him and Norris as well, is just safety car hang a little bit. Go as far as they can, see how they get on, and hope for a safety car. But the minute those lap times start to come down substantially, so for example, Russell's just a purple middle sector, by the way, Piastri on new tyres at a 33.0, Norris a 33.6. That's 6 tenths, yes, but it's not too bad considering the offsetting tyres. So keep an eye on the lap times. That's the key there, I think. But I agree. I'm a little bit surprised Norris hasn't breezed at the back of Leclerc unless he's doing some tyre management. Nick says, Charles, goal hanging for a safety car. What's the point? Fresh hards does not help. I think it's what Ferrari do, though, Nick, isn't it? They have this thing. They didn't. Can you remember Raikkonen a few years ago? They just left him out forever, even though everyone could see it was dumb because his lap times were plummeting, his tyres are gone, but they left him out, goal hanging for a safety car. It never happened. It's kind of what Ferrari like to do. I guess I say that Leclerc's just on the purple first sector, so Leclerc is quick. He's got pace. Piastri 32.9 last lap, by the way. So we'll see what Leclerc does. He's down at turn 15 at the moment, so we'll see what he does when he gets over the line. Here goes Ollie Bearman on Gabriel Bortoleto, who's just going backwards. So maybe that strategy not working out quite as well as I'd hoped for them. Ocon's still up in 12th, though. Hermes says, Ferrari poor planning. News to no one. Yeah, it's painful. It does hurt. Verstappen's out on purple first sector, by the way. 34 flat to the 34.1 of Leclerc. Not a surprise, I'm sure, but again, Piastri is closing in on Norris here, 4.5 behind at the moment. So I'll keep an eye on that. But it is nice to see a Ferrari out front again. Charles Leclerc there. I think his lap times are all right. 33.4. Norris 33.3. Piastri's going to do a 32.8. And it's a 32.9 for Verstappen. So they're not awful from Leclerc, considering the difference in tyres. Leclerc on those mediums, 27 laps, of course, since the start. So not bad. Hulk 10th and his teammate is 18th, says Kevin. Yeah, Hulkenberg yet to stop, though, Kev. Don't forget that, Kev. I kev'd you. There you go. You get a Kev. Haley says Hamilton is struggling. 8th at the moment. 7.8 off Antonelli. 35 off the lead. Nearly 36 off the lead. 33.7. Yeah, because Leclerc on those older tyres done a 33.4. So he's 3/10 slower than his teammate on fresh tyres as Sainz is up into 10th place. And I believe that is... Oh, that's Lawson and Doohan. Lawson got through, but I think Lawson may have cut the corner. We'll wait and see. I want to replay that one. I think Lawson may have gone off track there to keep that one. Could Leclerc and Norris pit for softs? Just watch Carlos Sainz overtake here on Hulkenberg. Nice and easy, I'd imagine. Fresh tyres, DRS. Yep, nice and easy done for Carlos Sainz. And does Lawson leave the track? I mean, Lawson's already well clear, to be fair. He's not overtaking him there, has he? He's still well clear, so maybe not. Might be okay. He has left the track, but maybe not. Anyway, Norris has got a new set of soft tyres. Leclerc hasn't, but Leclerc's will only have done 3 laps through quali, won't they? So it is possible. They said 10 to 16 laps if you ran them from the start before the race. So Norris could. He could, yeah. I think he needs to go a little bit further. We've got 22 laps left. If he can do another... lower fuel, track rubbered in, another 5 laps, 6 laps, maybe. It could be worth it. It could be worth a go. I'm just... Yeah. They go off so quickly, though, the softs, don't they? So, but yeah, we'll say it's an option. It is an option, definitely. Definitely an option for Norris. I mean, it is for Leclerc. I mean, like I say, if he's got a set of softs on available to him that have done, 3 laps, then absolutely, it might be worth a gamble. But I'll tell you what, if Leclerc does a medium to soft strategy, I hope he gets a ton of praise. Assuming a tyre doesn't blow up, of course, and and he doesn't finish 19th or 18th, If he finishes in a really good position and does a medium to soft strategy, nobody saw that coming before the weekend, so that'd be impressive stuff. Here goes Alonso, passing Jack Doohan, the one remaining Alpine after Gasly crashed on lap 1 with Yuki Tsunoda. Lawson did get lap time deleted. And in comes Leclerc, so that's the end of that. They're going to the hards. I'm not going to pull the face because I was wrong last week on this, but his lap times were still good. 2-second stop, though. Good stuff for Ferrari, and Leclerc should come out ahead of Isaac Hadjar and Dust. He's got a lovely gap to Russell, actually, to be fair, has Leclerc, as Antonelli passes Isaac Hadjar for P6. Nicely done down the straight. So, yeah, again, it's just it's the usual sort of, I don't understand why you do that when you've only got a few more laps and you could stretch the softs to the end. But I don't know what conditions of the softs are in. And I don't know what data they have. Those softs could have been destroyed in practice for Leclerc. We don't know. So they might not see it as a good race tyre. But it's fresh tyres still. 5th place, 3.7 to Russell. Bit of clear air to push in, so we'll keep an eye on his times. But yeah, we might see something from Leclerc here. We might. 4.5 between the net leaders, Piastri and Verstappen. Verstappen 4.5 behind Piastri. Piastri 3.3 behind Norris. So Norris is yet to stop. I think, actually, there might be a good argument here for that soft tyre. That was a very good point. If he pits now, probably not. If he keeps going, he probably can. And that tyre offset will be good, but is it going to have enough laps? That's the question. I mean, he's what? he'll pit and end up about... I mean, Piastri's closing in at a couple of tenths a lap. So you say that gets down about 2.5 seconds, let's say. You're looking at about a 16, 17 second gap to make up in 15 laps. That might be tricky. He's going to have traffic as well. So I think he's looking for a podium here, Norris. And I think he's got a shot at it. It's whether or not he can pick off Russell. That's going to be the key here. I think Piastri's safe. I think Verstappen will be just about safe, I think. That's going to come back to bite me in the arse in 20 laps, isn't it? And I think Russell's the question here. The question mark. Here goes a Williams of Carlos Sainz on the Aston Martin of Lance Stroll, who is still yet to stop as well. So just to confirm, Norris, Hadjar, Stroll and Hulkenberg yet to stop. So kudos to Pirelli for picking a softer selection, which should give us a more mixed strategy and more multi-stop races. That's gone really well. Ollie Bearman has just passed really nicely actually there. Jack Doohan through turns 1 and 2 to move up into a sensational 16th place. Not working for Haas today, is it, or this weekend at the moment? Still 19 laps to go or 20 laps to go. Anything can happen, of course, but yeah, not. Norris just gone purple in the first sector, by the way, just to take the mickey, as Russell goes purple in the middle sector. 32.9, 2 tenths slower again than Piastri, so yeah. Does Stroll have a fresh soft? That's a very good question, Nick. I can tell you in a second if I get the right thing up. So of those yet to stop, Stroll has got a fresh set. Norris has got a fresh set of softs. Hulkenberg has 2 fresh sets if he fancies being really bold. And there was one other who hadn't stopped, wasn't there? Hadjar. Hadjar has got a fresh set of softs as well. So I think... I've forgotten who made the point, so shout out to you. I think these drivers who haven't stopped yet are pushing for the soft. We've got 19 laps to go. It's doable from there, I think. Might want to put another couple more laps on these tyres first, just to make sure it's going to be enough to get to the end. But I think Norris can do a couple more laps. I think they go for the softs, but I think Norris can. He's just gone faster than Piastri in the first sector again. Here is Alex Albon having a go at Lance Stroll as well. Got me Aston's mixed up there. Easy move. Stroll yet to stop, of course. Did Norris pit during a safety car? No, he didn't. He didn't pit during a safety car. And it came... I'm going to butcher your name, and I'm so sorry, but you'll know who you are. Hagama Pama. Thank you very much for your shout there on a soft tyre. I think you might have been right there on the Norris one. Bit of debris on the outside. There might be tyre marbles, but... So Russell will be on... Leclerc will be on Russell in 3 laps time, according to AWS, who are always insanely accurate. So, but 32.4, wow, from Leclerc on that last lap. 6 tenths quicker than Norris and 3 tenths quicker than Piastri. So good lap that from Leclerc on those fresh tyres. So that Leclerc's got a shot at a podium here. And if Piastri wins, Verstappen finishes second and Leclerc gets third, I get 2 points on my predictions again. This can't go on. Something has to go wrong. Chase says, did Oscar overtake Max on track? It depends on your perspective. Verstappen got a penalty for cutting the first corner at the start, for leaving the track and getting an advantage, the official term, after going wheel to wheel with Piastri to turn 1 at the start. Some will argue Piastri did pass him off on track because Verstappen had to go off track to keep the position. Others will say that it was because of the penalty, because Verstappen had to bail out, otherwise they would have collided. So we'll just say Piastri got past Verstappen somehow. It's going to be my response to that. Sit on the fence. It's quite painful on the fence sometimes, but there you go. Lando's planning to keep extending. Something like Plan C, target +4 for him. So that's the soft target. I'm telling you now. He's complaining of dirty air now a little bit, is Piastri, as Doohan pits. I think that's going to be soft tyre to the end, 1 stop, obviously now. He's not on a 2 stop from here, is he? But Doohan's pitted for a second stop. So that, yeah, the hard hasn't gone the full way to the end then for Doohan. He made that stop under the safety car on the first lap. So that didn't quite work. But he's got to a fresh set of hards, so could have some fun out there now, could Jack Doohan. Did Doohan have a set of softs? Yeah, Doohan had 2 new sets of softs. It's interesting they've not gone soft tyre with him, given we've only got 17 left. So maybe the soft isn't a good tyre. We'll find out soon, won't we? But not long to go. I have to say, it's been a weird day for me today. Today's really dragged as a day, but this race has absolutely flown by. We've only got 17 laps to go. Or is it just me? I feel like it's absolutely flown by. And we had a safety car. Weird. I think it's probably because there's just been enough going on to keep me engaged and to keep everyone else engaged. We've got battles in the field, we've got intriguing strategy, the penalty early on, the crash as well. What's Norris going to do? The early stops on the safety car. There's been plenty to keep an eye on. So as Liam Lawson moves up into 12th place because Nico Hulkenberg has pitted, I think he'd have got him anyway, but Hulkenberg pits. Alonso down the inside of Esteban Ocon, his former teammate, of course, into 13th place through turn 1 there. Bortoleto moves ahead of his teammate as well. Sighted Canvas says, wow, rude YouTube, ads midstream. Yeah, sorry. Norris going to pick this lap, by the way. But no, yeah, there's YouTube are weird. I don't know when it changed. I should really know these things. But sometimes it doesn't matter if your ads switched on or not. They still show ads, even if your channel's not monetized. So it's a bit of a bit weird. But it's like I'll put a couple of mid-rolls in a video and then I'll go in and see what the automated ones have done. They'll put like 30 in a 5-minute video, in an 8-minute video, and you go, what are you doing? Calm down. I think I've got it set to conservative if they've got to do it, so it shouldn't be too bad, but apologies. It's the world we live in these days, isn't it? Ads everywhere. So Norris, did he get down to the speed limit here? Because it's a big lockup. Yeah, I think he did. Martin, it was on the limiter as he came in there, but that was... If anyone's got an onboard and can have a look at the wheel when he went over the line there, that'll be the big question mark now. If he didn't, then it'll be a slam dunk penalty, but he might be fine. I think the limiter was on from what I heard. I have got it turned on low, so I won't hear too much, but... as it stands, Oscar Piastri will lead the championship. 99 points to Norris's 87. Verstappen would have 87 as well. But you would like to think... Norris went mediums, by the way. So the soft just isn't a race tyre then. So... I'm still going to tell you now. I think it was still a great shout, the idea of the softs. But obviously they've decided it isn't a good race tyre because nobody started on it and nobody's put it on here despite having fresh sets. So that's a shame. But yeah, black and white flag for Bortoleto moving under braking. That's a bit late, but that is for the Alonso one, I assume. Have you seen Black Mirror Season 7? First episode is about ads, but in a very weird way. So yes, I've watched it all. Really enjoyed it. Episode 1 was great. Episode 2 was really good. The finale as well, which was basically a film, wasn't it? The final episode was really good. I think it was a couple of people complained about a few episodes, but I thought it was a really good season. So yeah, binge that in pretty quick time. I love stuff like Black Mirror and Inside Number 9. If you've ever seen that, if you haven't, give it a watch. Great stuff. So that's my kind of TV. Silly things like that. We got the black and white flag for Bortoleto for moving under braking 3 hours ago. Off Fernando Alonso. The system's quite slow, isn't it? So now we need to see. Right, so now the battle we're watching for is Norris chasing down Leclerc, who, by the way, is rapid at the moment, 32.3. So Leclerc's going to be battling with Russell. It's all about this final podium spot, I think. So Piastri 17 seconds clear of Norris. I think with 15 laps to go, he should be fine. Verstappen is 13 seconds clear. I think he should just about be fine. Depends on how quickly Norris gets through, potentially Leclerc and Russell. Leclerc's going to be tough to pass, though, on those fresh tyres at that pace. So we'll keep an eye on Norris's first flying lap out of the pits and see what he does. I wonder if the decision not to go to softs is related to McLaren putting Lando on softs in Jeddah last year and Lando not catching Ollie Bearman for P7. Maybe, yeah. That's a good point. In fact, only a couple of drivers tried softs at all last year, so maybe it is just not a good tyre for Jeddah. I know it's a compound softer, but maybe that's the issue there. But yeah, it could be that. It's a good point. Leclerc is sort of on the back here of Russell, a second between them. So George Russell, I've jinxed him because I wore the shirt. That's all it is. That's all it is. What's going on behind? Let's have a look through the field then while we just wait for Leclerc to close in on Russell here. We'll keep an eye on Norris. In fact, Norris done a 32.4. Well, he's 0.3 quicker than Leclerc. And I know it's his first flying lap out of the pit, so he might, as he gets a bit more up to speed, maybe that will come down again. But that's not the advantage I expected. He was 2/10 quicker than the leaders there. So there you go. Interesting. Still quicker. That's what he needs to be. So I just expected that to be like half a second. But I suppose he's chasing Leclerc down on also relatively fresh tyres. So yes, Piastri has pitted. He has pitted. All done. I think that's all the stops we're going to get, apart from Stroll, who's yet to pit. Maybe those who pitted on lap 1 under the safety car. So Ocon, for example, he might need to pit again. We'll see. Lawson doing an investigation at turn 1. We'll see what that one is. I don't know why Lando went for mediums over soft, says James. Chase says, I'm about to make the Oscar Piastri song by the end of the race. Can Max catch up to Oscar? And I saw somebody asking if maybe Hamilton and Antonelli might be battling on track at some point. Haley has asked that one, and I was going to check that. We just see Leclerc here having a go at Russell on the run to turn. This is potentially for a podium here. Leclerc to the outside into turn 1, takes the position. Russell, absolutely no defence really there. Bearing in mind, Russell's tyres are 17 laps old and Leclerc's are 8 laps old. As Lando Norris does a 1 that's better, a 1:32.1. He was 9/10 quicker than Russell, a 10th quicker than Leclerc, and 8/10 quicker than Verstappen, 5/10 quicker than Piastri. So there we go. That's the pace I expected. Antonelli versus Hamilton. Hamilton is coming back at Antonelli. 6/10 quicker on that lap, but there's still a 5.4 second gap with 13 laps to go. So if he's going to have a battle, he needs to get on with it. But that is Leclerc up into P3. Off he goes. So what I think, there's Gasly in the garage. Poor Pierre. But I think now what Leclerc needs to do is continue absolutely leathering it, get as far away as he can from Lando Norris in 3rd place, and hope that George Russell can keep him at bay a little bit here. But 10-second time penalty. You know what I was saying earlier about consistency? Liam Lawson, a 10-second time penalty for leaving the track and gaining an advantage. So they've obviously seen something in an angle or whatever somewhere, or telemetry, that tells them that's worth 5 seconds more. I don't know. I thought it was 5 seconds for leaving track and gaining an advantage and track limits, and then 10 seconds for forcing a driver off. But if I've missed something, chat, let me know. I thought the Lawson one, when you look at the replay that I saw of Lawson versus Do, and Lawson was already well clear, unless Liam has just gone in and not even tried to brake, and I've missed something, I don't know, and they've thought that was worth that. But yeah, I haven't seen it. I'll wait and see. They tend to do a replay when they give out penalties, don't they? So we'll see what happens, and I'll call it from there. But red flashing light on the balcony in turn 10, it's really annoying. Looks identical to a red flag, says Piastri. In turn 10, they're going to report that, McLaren. I think they should report that. I suppose it's a downside to a night race, lots of flashing lights. Also the downside to editing video when you've got a reporter in the paddock who's got flashing lights all over the place. Into turn 1, Lance Stroll passed by Fernando Alonso for P12. Stroll, again, still yet to stop. We mentioned safety car hanging earlier. Lance Stroll is clearly safety car hanging, but I'm not sure what he's safety car hanging for, because he's 13th, is incredibly slow and is plummeting through the field. So, yeah, I guess he really wants 13th. I don't know. Sainz. I couldn't quite make out what he said there. Something was annoying, but I can't. They've not put the text up, so I can't say what he said there, unfortunately. So Sainz and Albon. Can we watch a bit of this, please, Mr. Director, or Mrs. Director, or Miss Director, or Master Director, or whoever director? Just director will do, Sean. That would have been fine. Save yourself a couple of minutes there. I'd like to see this battle between Sainz and Albon now that I've seen that radio, because it's drawn my attention to it. 4 tenths between them. Albon is on the back of him here. A couple of tenths quicker on that last lap. This is the battle for points as well. It's 8th and 9th. Hadjar, by the way, on 4-lap mediums. Much fresher mediums than the 2 ahead of him, who are on hards. Norris failing to follow. 1 second. Failing to follow race director's instructions, crossing the line at pit exit, says Norris. Now, Stroll drops to 15th, by the way. Ocon and Bearman told to swap positions. Bearman goes through. Stroll has pitted. That's why he's gone down. I need to replay that then. Did I make a pun? Hermes says, well done, Sean, on your pun. Oh, no. What was... I made an unintentional pun. What was it? Here goes Lando Norris all over the back of George Russell. I'll wait to see a replay of this, but usually crossing a pit exit is a big no-no, and it's a penalty, so we'll see what they decide. But I think you're pretty safe to assume, and there he goes. DRS wide open, fresh tyres, breezes past George Russell into 4th place and has 10 laps to close 4.2 seconds to Leclerc, who last lap was a 10th quicker than Lando Norris. So there we go. The Lawson pun. Yes. Okay. That was a great pun. I love that one. Yeah, so we were waiting for a couple of replays, and we're waiting for this replay of Lawson versus Doohan, and we're waiting to see what happened at the crossing the pit exit line. I said that should be a slam dunk. There's been a couple over the years, haven't there, in recent years, where certain camera angles have suggested they've crossed the line and other ones have said they haven't, and they don't know which one is correct, so they end up not doing anything. But Norris is flying, as you'd expect. He's still 3.9 behind Leclerc. He's got a shot at a podium here. Potential investigation or penalty. I'll wait and see. It says noted at the minute, so not investigated. Albon and so Albon's dropping back off sides. Isaac Hadjar we need to keep an eye on here. He's right on the back of Alex Albon. In fact, we are keeping an eye on him. He's literally on the TV show. There you go. Really wide through 13. I noticed that earlier in the race from Hadjar, or at least the Racing Bulls around there at turn 13, quite wide. So this is the battle for 8th, 9th and 10th. Sainz, Albon and Hadjar separated by 1.5 seconds. So this could get tasty. What's Sainz? So pace for Sainz 33.8, 34.0 for Albon, 33.5 for Hadjar, as Norris does a 1:31.778 and takes half a second out of Leclerc on that lap. This is going to be close between these two. In fact, I think at that pace, Norris will catch him with a few laps to go. We've only got 9 left, so any mistakes, yeah. And Leclerc, personal best first sector, but still a couple of tenths slower than Norris. So that's going to be great. That's the fight for the final podium spot. Here we go then. This is Hadjar on the back of Albon. The problem is for Hadjar is that Sainz is giving Albon the DRS, and Hadjar has a little late look into turn 1. Thought better of that and backed out of it. A little bit of a dummy look, I suppose. Tried to distract him, maybe. I don't know. But there we go. He's got Albon to try and fight here. I mean, this is great drive from Hadjar. Also pretty good from Lawson. I know he's got a penalty, but this is the pit exit then for Norris. He's got his hands off his wheel, getting some air on his hands. The accent came out there for some reason. Comes through. So he cuts the inside line. Oh, I don't know what the rule is on this. He looks from one angle like he touches the line. And I can't. I'm just listening to see if Mark Brother clarifies it, but I don't know if the pit line is the pit line. You're not allowed to even touch it. My brother thinks if you've got a tyre on the line, you're okay. But I thought the pit exit was even if you touch it, you're in trouble. But that might have changed. So, yeah. But he also had tyres over the line on the inside as well, didn't he? So I don't know what the clarification is on that. So it's still only noted. So we'll see what the stewards decide to do with that, whether that does go for investigation. So that's one to keep an eye on. Bortoleto and Hulkenberg told to swap positions. And through goes Hulkenberg. We're still keeping an eye here on the battle for 8th, 9th and 10th. This is where it's all happening. We'll keep an eye on Norris as well. Last lap, 3 tenths quicker than Leclerc. So Leclerc picking the pace up there. Oh, Bernie Collins might have something here. I'm going to listen. Sorry if I got silent for a sec. So, oh, no further investigation. It's irrelevant. We can shut up now. I'll have a quick drink, and I'll be back with you in a sec. So no further investigation for Lando Norris reviewed. No further investigation for failing to follow race director's instructions, crossing the line at pit exit. So he's been cleared. Now I can forget. I don't have to stress about it. I was trying to work out. I thought you couldn't even touch the line, but obviously that's not the case because he did touch the line. So therefore you can do that, but I'm probably just misremembering. Pit exit line, of course, becoming quite a big thing, thanks in part to Michael Schumacher on Heinz-Hauer Frentzen in Canada 98. I look at the camera and hope that chat are going to confirm that was correct. Haven't seen it. Google it. Schumacher Frentzen, Canada 98. Caused quite a stir at the time, didn't it? 5 laps to vote for your driver of the day if you're going to vote in the poll. So looking forward to seeing Bortoleto get driver of the day, because apparently a lot of random people, like Antonelli and Tsunoda, I still don't know why they got their drivers of the day, but they just did. So there we go. Let's all vote for Isaac Hadjar driver of the day, because at least he's driven well. It'll be worth it. There you go. That's an instruction. I expect to see him win this now comfortably. Please do leave a like, by the way. We're well into the stream. We've not even hit 100 likes yet. And subscribe as well if you are new. Lots to come this weekend and this season and this week, of course. I'll do a few shout outs quickly while we're waiting for this to all kick off again. Thank you to unknown users, to Ricky, to Mike, to Dale, to Tom, to Clement, to Max as well for subscribing. Thank you so much for your support. Like I say, tons to come this season and this weekend. You've got Thomas. It depends on the short he does as to whether there's one tonight. We'll see what happens, but there will be a video from Thomas at some point, either today or tomorrow. Then you've got Elizabeth Tuesday, then I'm back with you for pretty much the rest of the week. Sam's back off his holiday. I know. Holiday, disgrace, at some point this week. So we might make an appearance from him. But yeah, I'm Miami next as well. So just loads to come. Hit that subscribe button and drop a like as well. Support massively appreciated. Thank you to everyone for tuning in as well. Been a good couple of days with these streams, but we're still waiting to see if Isaac Hadjar, who is sort of stuck in behind the two Williams here. He's got a point, Hadjar. He's 7 tenths behind Albon, and then Albon's 7. I wonder if Sainz is playing the game here and just keeping Albon in DRS to fend off Hadjar, because of course this could be a really big fight in a Constructors' Championship later in the year between Williams and Racing Bulls. So if they can work together to bag the 8th and 9th, which is 6 points, and Hadjar only gets the 1, that's a big swing for Williams there. So it makes sense, but I imagine Albon would want to be past Sainz if he could be. What's happening? So Norris now 1.8 behind Leclerc with 5 laps to go. Last lap 4 tenths quicker. This lap 3 tenths quicker in the first sector, a couple of tenths in the middle sector to go. Wow, 9 tenths quicker overall in this lap. So at the moment, I think Norris is going to catch him. Piastri is somewhat cruising out front. Complaining about traffic, says needs to get out of the way. The traffic... That tractor was in the runoff, wasn't it? It wasn't on the track. That was a weird angle there. So yeah, complaining about Lance Stroll and traffic, I believe. Yeah, Piastri's behind Stroll, Bortoleto, and then Hulkenberg just a bit further up the road, so they need to hop out of the way. But Norris is closing in now. This is going to be close at the end between those two, Norris and Leclerc. Russell just kind of confirming what I think they sort of hinted at anyway. Mercedes, the race pace isn't there. Antonelli, by the way, 6th place. Yes, he's 13.5 seconds off his teammate, but that's still 6th place and behind his teammate. He's got Hamilton catching him though by a 10th on the last lap, so 2 seconds between them. So the battle's really Leclerc and Norris for the final podium spot, Hamilton chasing down Antonelli, and then we've got Sainz, Albon and Hadjar. That's a fun battle as well. Don't forget Lawson's got a 10-second time penalty, which as it stands would drop him down to 12th, so 1 place. Unless Bearman picks the pace up. So, yes, I think the medias are clearly the right way to go here. And Piastri is past Stroll and is now going to go past Bortoleto and does indeed. Also, can I just... I just say, if this stays like this will be Piastri's 3rd win from 5 races. And without the mistake... if my grandmother had wheels, etc., etc. In Australia, he could have won there as well. Piastri's been impressive so far this season. I don't care what anybody says or any trolls try to point out. Norris doesn't come anywhere near winning 4 races, and neither's Verstappen. So 3 is not bad at all from 5, is it? Given how open these first 5 races have been in a lot of ways, maybe Bahrain aside. A lot of people coming into this season said to me that Norris was a sure bet for the title. So I'm pleased to see that if McLaren are going to be the team to beat, which they appear to be, we're going to get a scrap for it. So there's Piastri. So Piastri goes past Bortoleto. Then Stroll just nicely slips around the outside as well as turn 1 and gains a position and moves up to a sensational 16th place for Stroll. So I'm going to say it. Here comes the line. Here it comes. 2026 is the year for Aston Martin. If they can have a good season this year and turn it around, great, but they are very much focused on next year. In fact, I believe the latest is they will not pull Adrian Newey off the 2026 car to try and solve the 25 car. So they are pretty much all in on next year now, which you'd expect with Honda coming in, Adrian Newey being there, potentially a last shot for Fernando Alonso as well. Yeah. Although I still feel like Fernando's going to be here forever. Don't forget, you're here forever. That's on his wall in the office at Silverstone. So Norris, 32.2 for Leclerc, 32.2 for Norris. 1.6 between them, though. So now Norris will see through the first sector. This is still close enough that it goes down to the final lap. Alonso is immortal, says Chase. Yeah, he's immortal. Verstappen's inevitable. Yeah. Front left not looking good at all. Do you have any concerns about it getting to the end? I've got a band on the inside shoulder. It's opening, says Russell. I wonder which band is opening. Hopefully no concerns there for George Russell. Jokes aside, don't want a massive shunt, do we, late on? Because this is getting tasty now with a couple of places in this. It really is. Albon, Hadjar, Sainz in there, 8th, 9th and 10th. Sainz, Albon, Hadjar, obviously. And then Leclerc v Norris for a podium. Piastri, pretty safe. 3.4 clear of Verstappen, who was a little bit slower on the last lap. Leclerc, yeah, not going to catch Verstappen either, really. He was quick on that last lap, 6/10, but I think Verstappen's got this in control for P2. He's in traffic as well behind Lance Stroll. No tyre concerns for Russell. Thank you, Haley. Appreciate the sub. Thank you for joining me this afternoon or evening or morning, wherever you are in the world. Hopefully you've enjoyed. I mean, you seem to have, so that's good. You've subbed, so that's a good start, isn't it? A good size. So, yeah, back from Miami. I've got all the videos out, of course, between now and Miami. There's a crap ton of content on the channel now compared to where we were a year ago, where it was previews and race reactions, and that was it. Now we've got the lot. So, yes, busy, but all good fun. Norris now 1.3 behind. We've got 2 to go. I will keep an eye on Albon, Hadjar and Lawson, because that is still important points for them in the constructors. Sorry, Kevin, I know that's your area. You like to talk about that, but this is the one, is it? The podium is more important. No offense to Williams and Racing Bulls who are down there. So the thing is, though, I mean, Verstappen's picked up the pace as well. He's closed into 2.6. So Verstappen is coming back at him. But first of all, Piastri has traffic, but then so does Verstappen. Secondly, he's probably just looking after those tyres. So for the first time since 2010, we worked this out last week, didn't we? Piastri could lead the World Championship. An Australian, could win the World Championship. Piastri did not lead the World Championship in 2010. If he did, he looks great for his age. 1.2. So this is going to come down to the last lap here. And Piastri crosses the line to start the final lap. 1.3 seconds between Leclerc in 3rd and Norris in 4th. No disrespect to Norris, to Russell, to anyone else. I will be very happy with that podium in any order. That is a great podium for Sean. So can't complain one bit. But I'm sure I'll find something to moan about. Give me a minute. I'm sure there'll be something. 1.2 seconds of gap now. So, Leclerc's still got great pace. Don't forget his tyres not that much older than Norris. Is 5 laps older. They are a compound harder though, so that's a factor. But 32-1 on the last lap for Leclerc, 32-1 on the last lap for Norris as well. Sainz, Albon, and Hadjar still in that little train they've got going. Lawson closing in on them actually, and actually he might. He's going to need a big lap. Lawson is on his final lap. He might pull 10 seconds to Alonso, but he needs 2 seconds on the last lap, so probably not. But yeah, he's got a 10-second penalty to serve. I think, I don't want to jinx it for Ferrari. I think Leclerc here, it just depends on through these next few corners. Now we've hit the DRS section, so there is a detection point coming out of 17, I think, or is it before 19 this year? I can't remember. But now the DRS is open. He's not close enough, Norris. He's only 1.2 behind, so he's not going to close in. We're watching Piastri to that. I think Leclerc, unless he makes a mistake, is going to be okay here. Purple middle sector for Oscar Piastri, just making it clear I've got more to give if I need to. But Oscar Piastri, round the final corner, he won in China, he won in Bahrain, he wins in Saudi Arabia and goes top of the Drivers' Championship for the first time in his career, and for the first time since 2010, Mark Webber, we have a Australian top of the driver standing. Max Verstappen takes second place, third place for Charles Leclerc. Lando Norris, gotta say, great job to come back on this track from 10th place. I did say top 4, didn't I, start the stream? So there we go, he goes 4th. It's going to be George Russell when he gets there over the line for P5, P6 if he gets there. Just coming out the final corner now is Antonelli. He's going to come home in 6th place. There he goes. Then we've got Lewis Hamilton, who's going to take 7th place in the Ferrari. Then a massive gap back to Sainz, Albon, and Hadjar. Lawson's really close in on those guys actually. 1.3 behind now, but I think unless Hadjar's going to send it into this final corner, I think this is looking good. He's getting close. He's got DRS. Hadjar has a look. He's gone late on the brakes, but he's not going to get through there. No point at creaming that into the side of the Williams and throwing away a point. It is going to be Carlos Sainz, 8th place, 4 points for him. Really good drive from Sainz. Albon's going to take 9th for Williams. It's 10th for Isaac Hadjar. It's 11th on track for Lawson. He's going to drop to 12th once Alonso crosses the line because he's got that 10-second time penalty. He does drop to 10th. Then it's going to be Lawson 12th, Bearman 13th, yes indeed, 14th for Ocon when he gets there, 15th for Hulkenberg, he's already finished of course, 16th for Stroll, 17th for Doohan, 18th for Bortoleto, and we lost Yuki, Tsunoda and Pierre Gasly on the first lap with that crash. Oscar Piastri, World Championship leader, where's Annette? I think I could hear Annette screaming just in the background there. I hope it's with joy and nothing's gone wrong, but you know, I'm sure she'll be fine. Yes, Oscar Piastri, 3 wins from 5. Wow, that is a great start for Oscar Piastri to this season. Long old way to go, but he's given himself a cracking start. Don't forget what a cracking start did for Max Verstappen last year in the championship. So. Max Verstappen, I think, driver of the day. Talking about a lot of positives, gave it everything he could, Max Verstappen on the radio there. Christian Horner, that first corner we've all got our opinions on, he said on the radio. But yeah, Max Verstappen, I think that's what that's saying, 23% of the vote. So has he got driver of the day? Yeah, he has. Max Verstappen, driver of the day for P2. There you go. He drove, I mean, you know, outside of that first corner incident, whatever your opinion is, he drove very well today in a car that a lot of people don't feel should be up there. But it depends how bad you or good you believe that car is. I suppose that's going to come down to opinion as well. But I think Leclerc drove exceptionally well to get 3rd place. Great long run on those tyres early on. 29 laps on the mediums is quite impressive, you've got to say. And I think Piastri drove really well. Lots of fireworks here as well. Did he get fireworks over the line? I wonder if they've not done them over the line this year. With cars still out there racing, maybe. I don't know, but yeah. Annette is screaming and dancing. There we go. But yeah, I was right for Piastri for the win. You see, I was right. And for the... that's another point. For the first time this season, the pole sitter didn't win. There we go. It's not all about qualifying, although it's a massive part of it, of course, as we already know. But yeah, Leclerc 3rd as well. I got a point for that in my predictions. So, hey, 2 points for sure in his predictions. It's a terrifying thought. We'll stay live for a little bit longer. I'll answer some of your questions. I'll run through the order as well. But if you are going to disappear, because a lot tend to after the race is finished, thank you for joining me this afternoon. It's been a pleasure to have you with me. A lot of fun as always. Good race as well. Good to watch. So thank you for your support. Please do drop a like before you go and subscribe as well if you're new. Lots to come over the next few days, weeks and months, I am sure. So thank you again. But if you are sticking around, we'll watch the podium. We'll have a quick chat between us, see how we feel about the race overall, what we think of maybe the championship picture too, and then we will wrap things up from there. But yeah, Oscar Piastri is the winner. Should I do the championship standings if you're interested? Let's have a look. It's a great thing here with Multiview. They've got just about everything. So yes, Oscar Piastri. I've lost him straight away. Where have you gone? There we go. Oscar Piastri, top of the championship now. 99 points for the Aussie. Lando Norris drops to second place, 10 points behind his teammates, with Max Verstappen only 2 points further back. Given the doom and gloom around Red Bull, that's pretty impressive, you've got to say. George Russell as well. Not an epic race today. 10 points on the board, though. Still 73 points overall. Charles Leclerc is on 47 now in 5th place, with Antonelli in 6th place on 38. Hamilton has 31 points in 7th. Alex Albon is on 20 points this season already in 8th. That's still surprising me. Esteban Ocon 14 and Lance Stroll on 10. They didn't score today, but they have scored this season. Still just the 4 drivers yet to score. Fernando Alonso, Liam Lawson, Jack Doohan and Gabriel Bortoleto. In the Constructors, I mean, they're pretty much gone, aren't they? I know there's a long way to go, but 188 points for McLaren, 111 for Mercedes, 89 for Red Bull, 78 for Ferrari. Williams on 25 and have moved ahead of Haas into 5th place in the Constructors. Haas on 20 points. Aston Martin have 10, Racing Bulls have 8, Alpine have 6, and of course Sauber have 6 as well. So, wow, what a... My takeaway from all of that isn't that Piastri's top of the standings, it's that Williams are now 5th on 25 points. That is an impressive start to the season from that team. Very good. 20 points, of course, coming from Albon. A nice point today for Hadjar as well, got to be said. I want to hear what George thinks, says Gregory. Absolutely. That's all that matters. Anthony did the exact same thing Max did in turn 1, says Husky. I haven't seen a... Trying to think if I remember seeing that. Who was it on, Husky? And I'll see if I remember. If not, then I will. I'll see if we get a replay a bit later, but might be one that we can discuss on the next stream, maybe in a couple of weeks' time. If I remember, that's a long way away. No problem, Devilish Guy. Thank you so much for coming along. OM says, can Red Bull do something to improve Max's car? Yeah, they've got a couple of updates on this weekend. They've got an update coming for a couple of bits for Miami, then a bigger package coming for Imola. I don't know how far they're going to go with updates. The general feeling seems to be that every team will bring one big update this year and then shift focus to 26. So it could all be on an Imola update. It could all be on a technical directive in Spain. But they can do. They can do. I know they've lost Adrian Newey, but they've still got some very good people there. So Piastri's looking for a couch, apparently. He's knackered. 2 Leclercs on the podium, says Annette. What have I missed? I feel like I've missed something. I probably have. Williams have a massive year this year. Having a massive year, says Mad. Yeah, great start. 25 points, like I say, is impressive stuff from them. And it is good to see them scoring as well. Good to see them competitive. Just being competitive. And this is before we get to the Mercedes, what could be a rocket ship next year in the back of that car again. Are they going to have a big jump forward to like they did in 2014 maybe? So yeah. I'm not engaging in silly troll comments, so carry on. Fair enough. Ferrari should focus on Hamilton's car in the 26 development. It wouldn't make a difference to his standings this year, says Hans. Rodriguez says congratulations to Piastri. Piastri is a Leclerc. Oh, of course. Yeah, I remember now. Yeah, I remember now. It was that last year that joke came out? Yeah, I remember now. I'm with you. He is a Leclerc. Piastri has more wins than Norris, says Marta. No, you lie. I'm going to check. Does he? So... I'm just having a moment here. I'm not really calling you a liar, Marta. So 3 this year, 2 last year is 5. I think, you might be right. You're probably already telling me in chat, but we'll do it anyway. No, they're equal on 5, aren't they? 5 each. I suppose sprints, if you want to count them. Is that 5 each? That's you've got still quite. When you think about, and I know he's not always had a car capable of winning, but when you think about how long Lando Norris has been in the sport and Piastri's been in the sport in comparison, then that 5 all is still quite an impressive stat. I have ended the poll, by the way. I don't know why I keep forgetting to end them. You could have all voted Piastri there. But yeah. Ferrari accounts he sprint, says Marta. Yeah, true. Leclerc goes for his interview now. Oh, right. So I'll have a quick drink and I'll run through the order and we'll get that bit out of the way quickly. So just a couple of secs. Oscar Piastri has won the 2025 Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, and as I said earlier, for the first time since 2010, an Australian leads the World Championship. He beat Max Verstappen by 2.8 seconds, who had that 5-second penalty for leaving the track and gaining an advantage, according to the stewards at turn 1, after the two of them went wheel to wheel at the start. Charles Leclerc, cracking drive to take 3rd place today. Yes, I'm biased. 5.2 behind Verstappen and a second clear of Norris, who recovered from his crash yesterday to go from 10th to 4th. He drops to 2nd in the championship. Very close up there, though, overall. George Russell, bit no man's landy, I suppose, today is how I'd sum his day up, but 5th place, 10 points, 18 seconds behind Norris, 7.4 clear of teammate Antonelli, who once again brought home some decent points. Lewis Hamilton struggled pretty much all weekend, didn't he? 4.3 behind Antonelli in 7th place. Carlos Sainz, some big points there for him, for Williams, 4 points, 25 off Hamilton, but 1.8 clear of Albon, who dropped off on the final lap over the line probably, but also having to defend from Hadjar, who took 10th place for Racing Bulls. Fernando Alonso finished 12th on track, inherited 11th after Liam Lawson took a 10-place time penalty, which dropped him down to 12th. Ollie Bearman 13th, 14th for Esteban Ocon. Bit of a disappointing weekend for Haas overall, to be honest. Although it was. Bearman didn't get into Q3 at all. That was the other week. Ignore me. 15th for Nico Hulkenberg, 16th for Stroll, 17th for Doohan, 18th for Bortoleto. And on the first lap, Yuki Tsunoda and Pierre Gasly collided, both of them retiring. Gasly at the scene and Tsunoda in the pits after the team checked the car. So who's your driver of the day, chap? Who have you got? One surname. Verstappen got the official driver of the day. It's got to be Bortoleto, no. It's hard not to go with Piastri. Controlled that nicely once he got into the lead. So there's an argument there. I think Leclerc was excellent today as well to end up in P4. He didn't get fireworks over the line. That's rude. Anyway, I think Norris coming through from 10th to 4th has got to be a mention there as well. And I think, Isaac Hadjar, that 10th place, it might not look particularly spectacular, but he's up 4 places, right on the back of the Williams. But I'm going to go, I think, and please don't be mad at me, for my blatant bias in a Mercedes shirt, I'm going to go with Charles Leclerc. And I know it's bias, and I don't care. It's a podium. I predicted a podium on Thursday because I'm a naive idiot, my words. And I didn't think he was actually going to get a podium. So I think that long stint on the mediums, 29 laps, great pace as well. It's not like his pace dropped off massively at any point, was it? Led for a while as well. So I'll say Leclerc with accepting it is still probably quite biased, but also Piastri, cracking drive too. And yeah, let's see what you guys are saying in chat then. Who have you gone with? Joe says Charles was flawless. Mad's going back to bed, 4:37 in Australia. No worries, Mad. Thank you so much for tuning in. As always, good to see you again. Annette says Charles drove so well. He did indeed. Are you still dancing, Annette, or have you calmed down now? Martha says Charles. Piastri is my driver of the day. Says cited Canvas. Nick says Leclerc. J Webb says Hadjar. Oscars for driver of the day, but Leclerc. But that's Annette, sorry. Red Raven, Norris, driver of the day, but Piastri of the weekend. Fair shout. Letox says Charles or Norris. I tend more to Charles because that brilliant first stint on the mediums. Stroll for driver of the day for finishing, says Craig. Gasly, driver of the day for showing up, says Hermes. Fair enough. Charles, great first stint, says Josh Aru. No cooldown comment from Max and Oscar on turn one. They probably waited for that one. And say nothing there. And Piastri for making the first corner, says the Hap Rust. Morris says Tsunoda crash. It was a crash for Tsunoda. Him and Gasly, it was a bit of a weird, like a first lap incident. I don't think the stewards will do anything about it. Trying to think back now. Tsunoda was on the inside of turn 4 and Gasly was on the outside, and they've just sort of come together on the exit, and then Gasly's gone backwards into the wall, and Tsunoda hit the wall as well, but Tsunoda got back to the pits to check the car, couldn't go any further. So I think a first lap racing incident, I'd be surprised if the stewards do anything there, but then it's the stewards and they tend to surprise me, frankly, so who even knows anymore. See if there's anything worth just mentioning very quickly in the group chat. I don't think I can I need to check actually on these things, because that says print, so I'm probably not allowed to say, because there's I don't know if you know, but around Formula One with the media there are print sessions and TV sessions, and print and TV aren't allowed to. It's a bit complicated, but I'll check that for next time. But there is some stuff in there that I won't read this time. It's not hugely important, but I'll check it for next weekend or the following weekend. Where are we? Miami in a couple of weeks, isn't it? As they head up to the podium. I still give it to Kimi. He performed well and put pressure on his far superior teammates as Hermes. Max looks grumpy in the cool-down room. He probably feels like that's a win that's got away. The trouble for Max there, I suppose, is if he gives the position back, Piastri's going to disappear. If he doesn't give the position back, and he sort of hangs out for a penalty if he's going to get one, Piastri's still going to get past. So I kind of feel like you might as well, if you see what I'm getting at, you might as well take the gamble on a penalty than just hand the position back, because he's going to lose that position anyway. Because if Piastri overtakes him, he's just going to disappear, which is what we saw pretty much, wasn't it? So he had it under control. So I feel like he's a bit damned if he did, damned if he didn't in that moment with the penalty. So thinking about it a bit more now the race has cooled off. Do you know what I'm getting at, or do I need to explain that again? I feel like I didn't explain that very well. Third win of the season there for the Aussie Elizabeth. If you're listening, the Aussie is not a Kiwi. You got so much stick for that. It happens. It happens. It was a long weekend, to be fair. Well, I got 40% of my 5 DNF predictions. People were astonishingly well behaved for the most part. Yeah, and consider it's Jeddah. To be fair. Keep pushing, Lewis. You will get there. Stay positive. The improvement will come over time. Says Agro Valley Farm. I think Max lost the race in the first 200 yards, says Nick the Greek. Max did seem faster on the medium, so maybe given the place back, would have gotten in better track position anyway. Maybe, Charlie. Actually, that's a fair point. Yeah, he was quite... Well, he was quick on the mediums, but then the gap was coming down. Then Piastri just stuck in a 28.8 in the middle sector and went purple. So I feel like he had more time in his pocket. Yeah. It does feel this last couple of races like we've had a bit of a swing. Not just mathematically, we've literally seen Piastri move into the lead of the championship, but I feel like in terms of the mentality, in terms of the coolness, the calmness that he's got. There just seems to have been a swing towards Piastri all over the place, not just because he's getting the results. And he's very mature for such a young lad. And I've said before, he reminds me so much of Kimi Räikkönen, just in how cool and calm he is. And that might serve him well this year as things start to get really, really heated, because this is going to be closer than I think a lot of people maybe expected once the season kicked off. And we saw that pace in Australia in the dry from the McLaren drivers, it dried up from the McLaren drivers, it looked like we were going to get a pretty dominant season, and a lot of people thought Norris would run away with it because he has the experience, 6 years in F1. Piastri's only been in for, is this his third season in Formula One, I think, or something like that. So I think we've seen a real swing in the last couple of races, and he is the championship favourite according to the bookies, at least I think in the UK. I don't know what it's like elsewhere in the world, but there's definitely been some sort of movement behind the scenes. I think you saw in the crash, the way Norris sort of beat himself up afterwards and then came back a bit calmer today, ready to look forward and try and improve on that. And Piastri just throughout it all, nice and calm. He made his mistake in Australia, which, to be fair, anyone could have made in those conditions on dry tyres. He made his mistake. Since then, I don't really think he's put a foot wrong. And I have a feeling this could be, he's got 3 wins already from 5 races. This could be quite a special year for Oscar Piastri, and I am absolutely here for it. Absolutely here for it. And I feel like I think that's got to be clipped up for short, hasn't it, at some point, so people can tell me I'm wrong. Maybe one for Wednesday there, just me talking about. I just feel like, I don't want to say the phrase. I'm looking for a phrase, but I feel like he's more in control at the moment than I think I expected him to be, if that makes sense. Not of the championship, just of his emotions. I know he's a calm lad, but it's his first championship battle, and he's turned up in an incredibly tight season with a very quick teammate and a very quick Max Verstappen in what is a bit of a donkey of a car in a very competitive field, and has just won 3 of the opening 5 bloody races. That's ridiculous. What an achievement. What a start. And he is definitely, I can see why he's the favourite. Let's put it that way. And also very humble, as Craig has just said in chat. Absolutely. Absolutely. I think impressive stuff from Piastri all around. And again, I said at the start, I've said it many times to you all, he's on my list of favourites on the grid, so there is maybe some bias there, but I don't think anybody can deny what we've seen from Piastri so far this season. I'll use the line. It's my favourite go-to line. There's a hell of a long way to go. We are 5 races into a 24-race season. We've got the sprints to consider. We've got the technical directive in Spain to consider. We've got development in this first part of the season to consider, and who's going to switch to next year. This could all change in a matter of a couple of races, if not in Miami. I just rewind that. Sorry, I just caught out the side of my eye. I quite like a slogan, right? I do. But they've got on drones there above the Jeddah circuit. Overtake the future. How? You can't so time travel. That's their slogan. We're going to get a TARDIS and we are going to overtake the future. Weird. Could be something better than that. Whatever. It's whatever. Hopefully rain in Miami, says J Webb. As everyone will tell me who's from Florida, I get it every year. The forecast, the weather there can change like that. That's the way it goes, isn't it? It just does in Miami, so we could see some rain. Was it the first year we were there where we got a lot of rain and it caused a lot of problems with the surface? Or was it just the surface was terrible? I can't remember now, but yeah, Martin Docker up for the job. Great reference there, Growbag 84. Love Back to the Future, probably my favourite film trilogy there. Love that, love it. Don't worry about it, Sean. As per usual, Saudi Arabia, plenty of money and no sense was applied, says Red Ray. Yeah, just pick some words from a dictionary. Yeah. What's my slogan for the channel going to be then in that case? That's a good one very quickly before we wrap up for the day. 3 random, so pressure, flag, freeze. There you go. Jesus Christ, thank you for popping back again, Jesus. Hope you've recovered from your roller coaster weekend. Says, so stupid for Red Bull not letting Max giving the place back. Have they not learned? This has already happened in the past. Free says, Meaningless corporate drivel. Yeah, overtake the future. It doesn't make any sense, does it, at all? Waffling but with sauce, says Red Raven. That'll do. I like that one. I probably shouldn't swear because I'll probably get told off for it, but it's not really a swear word to me. I don't think it is. I think the slogan for the channel really should be talking shit, because that's generally what I do half the time. So there you go. Slogan for the channel, the perfect segue to the win, says, oh, FUD. FUD's won the internet. The perfect segue to the win. I've just screenshot that. I'm having it. I like that. See you later, Marta. We are wrapping up in a minute. I'm just having one of my senile moments, so bear with me. But thank you for popping along, Marta. Good to see you, as always. As a Kane, I approve that message, says Nick the Greek. When it rains, it hurricanes in Miami. Yeah, I'm trying to remember the year now. I'm sure there was a big downpour there that caused problems. It was nice to see the track wet, given that the marina wasn't real. But anyway, yeah. Any questions about the race before we wrap up today? We'll go till 8 o'clock UK. That's 11 minutes from now. Then I'm going to get some dinner. Then I've got to come back and edit a couple of videos. So let's see. Overtake the future makes me miss the days of Mission Winnow. Says Mike. Yeah. Well, we'll have to do a midweek stream at some point, and I'll get the haiku book out again, the Mission Winnow Kimi haiku book, and we'll read some of them on camera, because then you can see me being massively sarcastic. Would having to use all three compounds of tyres helped with this race, says Growbag84. Look, I'm a big fan of that argument anyway. I mean, we've got 3 tyre compounds that go to every weekend, dry tyre compounds, haven't we? The medium, the hard, and the soft, or the hard, the medium, and the soft. So to me, I kind of feel like we could just do that anyway, and it's a mandatory 2-stopper, and then you've got to use all 3 compounds. The problem is, does Pirelli then need to bring extra compounds with them to compensate for that, which is going to cause them problems? And as to the sustainability argument, or lack of sustainability argument, I'm also not convinced more pit stops equals better racing. It does mean that drivers aren't having to conserve as much in terms of tyres, which I suppose could translate into better racing. But what I will say, to kind of answer your question, Growbag, but also kind of skit around it a little bit, I think when they said about Monaco and they're going to make it a mandatory 2-stop race, they're not making it mandatory, but you must use all 3 compounds. And I feel that's a missed opportunity. I know Monaco's probably like a terrible race to trial something anyway, but I feel like they could have tried that out and seen how that works across the weekend with allocation and what teams did in practice and things like that if they're going to do it, but they're not going to do that. So I'm not convinced it would give us better racing, but there is the potential there that if they're not having to conserve tyres quite so much, they can still push. But I don't feel today specifically, I don't feel like we saw a huge amount of tyre management. Yes, I know Leclerc went long on the mediums. Yes, I know Norris went long on the hards, but both of them had really good pace. They weren't driving several seconds off the pace to get to the pit stop, if you know what I mean. So I don't feel like it was one of those races where we saw tons of tyre management to make the one-stopper work. So maybe today it wouldn't have made a difference, but I think there are other races where you could make an argument for all 3 compounds and a mandatory 2-stopper, particularly tracks that are tougher to overtake on, because the more pit stops you have, the more likely there is a mistake, the more undercuts you could get, and that might spice things up. So, yeah, I think the Monaco thing's weird, but I don't think the extra stop would have made much difference today. Jay Webb says Stroll still top 10 in the standings is mega. It is absolute 10 points as well. His teammates not scored yet. There you go. Could Mercedes take second in the constructors due to lack of proper competition from Ferrari and Red Bull? I'm going to stop for a second. I'm going to read that properly rather than at 300 miles an hour, which is what I tend to do. Hermes asks, could Mercedes take second in the constructors due to lack of proper competition from Ferrari and Red Bull? Short answer, yes. I think of the teams you've mentioned there, Mercedes, Red Bull and Ferrari, who are going to be the ones in the battle for second, aren't they? McLaren, I think, have got this in the bag if they don't just completely start crashing into each other or something stupid like that. But it is between those 3 teams for P2. Yuki Tsunoda, I think, difficult Japan, improvement in Bahrain. I think improvement pre-crash this weekend, obviously, with his 8th place start. I actually think he's sort of making the steps in the right direction, but he's not yet consistently scoring, and it's tough to see how in that car he's going to be able to pick up the points that, say, an Antonelli is in 6th place in the standings, and he was 6th today as well, wasn't he, just behind George Russell, so he's picking up consistent points. They're not got that at Red Bull. Ferrari, same again. Lewis Hamilton struggling quite a bit at the moment to get up to speed. Leclerc's delivering what he can. The car's not where they want it to be really anyway, so I think Mercedes right now, 5 races in, long old way to go. There's the line again. But I think Mercedes right now, 5 races in, they are the favourites for second in the Constructors. So if you want me to pick an order, 5 races in, and you can call me out on it at the end of the season. McLaren to win the title. I know, I'll give you a second for that one. Mercedes second. In fact, Mercedes second. I'm going to go Ferrari third and Red Bull fourth. I'm going to say Red Bull down to fourth. I just nothing against Yuki Tsunoda. I just think that second car, they're trying to get on top of it. The problems they've got, even if Max is picking up big points like he did this weekend, and obviously the win in Japan, it's not going to be enough if Lewis Hamilton finds his feet at Ferrari. He may not, and it may be Red Bull that hang on to third, but just to mix it up a bit rather than just reading the Constructors' Championship, McLaren, Mercedes, Ferrari, and then Red Bull. But I think Mercedes will get P2 to answer the question in a more swift way. Yes. There you go. Typical Sean. Question gets asked. It's a yes/no answer. Sean, 6 hours later, and that's why I think Mercedes will finish second. Hermes has noted the list. Now I'm in trouble. No worries, Annette. Hope you're okay, and hope you're celebrating, and you can have a good drink tomorrow to celebrate. Maybe not for breakfast, maybe that's maybe a bit much, but enjoy having an Aussie back at the top of the standings for the first time in 15 years. 15 years. Wow. Lando Norris looks absolutely knackered at the moment as he's talking to Rachel Brooks. Not a surprise. It's quite a demanding race, isn't it, physically? So not a huge shock there. We currently have 4 drivers in contention for the Drivers' Championship, said Latox. 4 drivers in contention. Boring answer. Mathematically, we have 20. It ain't happening. Yeah, I think, even though I do think Mercedes are probably going to be the favourites right now for the Constructors, in second place in the Constructors, not to win it, second place in the Constructors, I just feel like as good a start to the season as Russell has had, if Piastri is going to start winning consistently like he is doing, or keep that up, and Norris starts to do the same, he gets in the mix, and Verstappen keeps dragging that car around, I think Russell will start to fall away, and I can see him, funnily enough, and it's no hate here at all. I've got my Mercedes gear on, so I can't hate Mercedes this weekend. I think it'll be a bit like we saw him in the race today. He's going to end up in a bit of a no-man's land position. But if Russell finishes top 4 in the standings this year, I still think that's a really good year when you consider where they thought they were going to be at the start of the season. They thought they were way off McLaren, behind Red Bull, and behind Ferrari as well. And now they're looking like in with a great shot, a second in the Constructors and a top 4 in the Drivers. I just feel like Russell is just going to fall away as the season goes on. But again, top 4 is still a great place for him to be. And I hope I'm wrong. I would love 4 drivers in contention for the championship, but I will say I agree. Incredible start to the season. 99 points Piastri, 89 Norris, 87 Verstappen, 73 Russell. It is insanely tight, and it's one good, one bad weekend, and things could swing again. So I think we're in for a great season. I was sceptical at the start of the year, but I think we're in for a great season, even if Piastri's going to win it by a mile. There you go. Joe says that Russell can't be getting beat by the Ferrari, who is slower. Yeah, there is that. I think strategy today played a bit of a part in that, but no, it's a fair point. I think your battles are the McLarens with a bit of Verstappen for the championship. That's your 3 for the title. I then think you've got the Ferraris and the Mercedes battling behind, with hopefully a second Red Bull in there as well. And I think that's where your scraps are. I don't think Russell will fight for the championship, but I do think, as I said in my short the other week, you need to keep an eye on him, because if he keeps picking up consistent points and Piastri and Norris start running into each other, or the Red Bull falls away or whatever, he could bring himself into play. It's a big ask, but today, a couple of weeks on from that short that I keep referencing, maybe it is looking more Piastri, Norris, Verstappen. But anybody surprised by that? I don't think so. Just my opinion, of course. It's all about opinions. You may differ, but Red Raven says, here's my suggestion of the pecking order at the moment. McLaren, Ferrari, Mercedes, Red Bull, Williams, Racing Bulls, Alpine, Aston, Haas, and Sauber. Is that your pecking order or your championship predictions at this stage, Red Raven? I'm not convinced Ferrari are second fastest. Well, I can see who's second being very track specific, and that being Mercedes one weekend, Ferrari the next weekend. We'll ignore Red Bull because I think Verstappen is just Verstappen, isn't he? It's really McLaren, Mercedes, Ferrari, Verstappen, really. No, again, no disrespect to Yuki, but that's kind of where it is. But yeah, I think Mercedes and Ferrari very close for the second fastest at the moment. But I Verstappen's the outlier, isn't he, in many ways? He kind of throws that off for me, but yeah. Joe says Ferrari is not the second fastest car. What an insane take. Who's the second fastest car? I mean, I've just said I sort of agree and disagree with Red Raven. I think it is Ferrari and Mercedes are the ones that are going to be the second fastest at the moment, and that's going to chop and change each weekend. But I don't think it's insane to suggest Ferrari might be the second fastest. At least, I'll get some shit for this, I know, but at least in the hands of Charles Leclerc. Mercedes have definitely had the strongest starts of the season. I mean, comfortably points wise. So I don't agree calling that Red Bull with Verstappen is probably second fastest. Red Bull, if you put, I don't know, Albon or, well, no, let's pick an actual Red Bull driver. Hadjar, for example, in that car, it isn't the second fastest. Craig says the other McLaren. There you go. Problem solved. Fastest car is one McLaren. Second fastest is the other McLaren. Argument is over. Done. Ferrari can't even run their car with a proper setup. Red Bull consistently sets up that car for Max, and Merck has been far more consistent, said Joe. I'm not disagreeing with that, Joe. But all I'm saying is I don't think it's completely mad to suggest that Ferrari, at least at some weekends, are second fastest. I mean, it's still kind of baffling to me when I think about the season. Joe and Red Raven, actually. To both of you and everyone else listening, that Lewis Hamilton won a sprint in China. We thought that was the moment Ferrari had turned it around, and then it just didn't work, did it? I mean, they got disqualified from races, and I think there is an issue there, but they've got a flaw. So they've got a floor upgrade, which has seemed to have given them a bit of a boost. We saw it in Bahrain. Miami's going to be interesting, but I struggle with these first few races anyway. This is my last point, then I'm ending the stream, I promise. But I kind of struggle with the first few races anyway, because Australia, very much an outlier of a track. Then you go to China, which is, we've only had one race at that since 2019, so that's a little bit of an outlier. Then you move on to Japan, which is very different. Then you move on to Bahrain, which is very different. Then we come to a street track in Saudi, which is very different. Now we're off to Miami, which is another street track, but very different. It's not until you get to Barcelona, for example, where you can really start to nail down a pecking order. The problem is, Barcelona this year is round 9 of the season. You know, we're nearly at halfway by that point. So I'm just enjoying it. I'm going to make my predictions every now and again, and I'll do my predictions for the weekend, but I don't care who's fastest and who's going to win the championship. I think we're in for a cracker, whatever happens. Even if it is McLaren versus McLaren, that's going to get very Hamilton Rosberg. I hope for McLaren's sake it doesn't get to Senna Prost levels of controversy, but they've managed it before. Bit of a different team these days with management and things, but you know, they've managed it before. You never know. We'll leave it there. That is 1 minute past 8. I have overrun, as we know. We like to do it on the channel, but thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. As always, been a pleasure to have your company for the afternoon or afternoon, evening here in the UK and Europe and wherever you are in the world. Yeah, what's coming up? There'll definitely be a short on socials tonight from Thomas. There might be one on the channel depending on what he decides to put out. If not, then there will be a video tomorrow. There'll be a video on Tuesday as well. That'll be from Elizabeth, and then on Who's Not AI. I'll make the point again. And then on Wednesday, I'll have a short out. And then on Thursday, I'm back with a video. There'll be a video from me as well on Saturday. And then, of course, we're gearing up for the Miami Grand Prix. So please do drop a like before you go and subscribe if you are new. Like I say, lots to come over the course of this season. And congratulations, of course, to Mr. Oscar Piastri for winning his third of 5 races so far this season. 3 wins from the opening 5. Top of the championship for the first time in his career. His 5th win overall, as well, as we've already worked out. So, wow, this is going to be a good season. So we are going to leave it there. Thank you, as always, for tuning in. I'm just going to do my little round off we're just going to sign off now, because otherwise I'll sit here waffling for the next 3 hours. But as ever, thank you for watching. I've been Sean. This has been the F1 Word. And until next time, goodbye.